Now come to order. Start with the roll call. Director Hansen.
Here.
Meek.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Peterson here. Ray.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Weiniger.
Here.
Okay, and before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, for those that are just joining us, we apologize. We had some technical issues here in the boardroom. And also, we'd like to stand and have a moment of silence for those that have not been keeping up on the news. There was a school shooting in an elementary school in Texas. The data so far is 14 students dead and one staff member so far. So, and also, if there's any comments tonight, please give us some time for morning and to find more information, and we can delve into the causes and the reasons and stuff some other day. So with that, if everyone would please stand, and we'll have a moment of silence for the Texas school victims. Thank you, everyone. With now the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving to item number 3, acceptance of agenda. The recommendation is the Board of Education approves the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion to accept the agenda.
Motion by Ray. Second by Myers.
There.
Director Hansen.
Aye.
Meek.
Aye.
Myers.
Aye.
Peterson, aye. Ray.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Weiniger.
Aye.
Passed 7-0. Moving into item number 4, the study work session, and we will start with the school year 22-23 proposed financial plan and budget. At this point, I will turn it over to Superintendent Kane, and I believe Ms. Doan will be giving us additional information. Go ahead, Superintendent Kane. And I think we're getting her back, so I will actually turn it over to Ms. Doan, and we can get the superintendent's remarks if she needs to. Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, Ms. Kane is overnight. She has the first 2 slides, so I'd like to her.
Okay, Mr. Blair, are we getting her back? Or?
Yeah, Aaron, can you hear us?
Yes, I can barely hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. I can barely hear President Peterson, but
Where's the clicker? Right there. And Ms. Kane is frozen on Zoom right now. Aaron, if you can hear us, you are frozen on Zoom right now. Oh, looks like you're unfrozen now.
all right, let me try turning off. All right, if I turn off my video, is it better?
Yes, and let me get the screen share going for you.
Thank you.
So you can see where we are. Okay, Ms. Kane, you should be able to see the screen share now with the presentation.
I sure do. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to join remotely Board of Ed 6 along with some of our staff and students. There's definitely a lot going around. All right, so I just want to introduce the 22-23 proposed budget. Colleen Doan is going to be doing the bulk of the presentation, but I just want to start with some highlights. So if you can go to the next slide, please. That we looked at when budgeting are investing in our staff as we all have been talking about so much, we need to really be able to focus on retaining our staff and helping to develop them and reward them for being such wonderful, amazing employees for our students. So investing in staff was a huge priority. Investing in our schools, which we did through our site-based budget weighted student funding. And then investing in our support system for our schools. So this is aligning our department budgets with the priorities of our strategic plan through a priority-based budgeting methodology. Next slide, please. Okay, so some highlights. Investing in our staff. So we've already announced our licensed compensation changes. Thanks to the Board of Education approving the new structure. Our licensed staff received an average of about an 8% increase. Now, while that sounds like a lot, it really did help our staff get to a more competitive place. But that being said, we've already previewed the licensed staff investment in our neighboring districts. So we are still, our average salary will still not be competitive with our neighboring districts, but this certainly helps. And so we are very grateful to the board for helping to facilitate that increase for our licensed staff. We have been focusing over the last few weeks on non-licensed compensation and have been able to do about an average of a 6% increase for non-licensed staff. And we're going to talk a little bit in detail about what that compensation looks like and the methodology used. As many of compensation system is incredibly complex. That is true for our licensed staff. It is also true for our non-licensed staff. It's incredibly complicated. And so we went through spreadsheet after spreadsheet to go through all the different positions. Many of our positions include just one individual. So trying to go through all of that information and understand where everyone is relative to the market was extremely challenging. And I'm very thankful to our compensation team and our budget team for all the work that they did on non-licensed compensation. Finally, we are able to, using this year's dollars, to do a retention payment of $2,000 for full-time staff and $1,000 for part-time staff. Ms. Thompson will talk more about what this retention payment looks like. But a huge focus right now, and something I heard really consistently as I went through our schools, was just that we really need to do everything we can to retain the amazing staff that we can. A retention payment is a stopgap measure. So it's not an ongoing commitment. It doesn't help our staff salaries going ongoing into the future, but it will absolutely help us retain as many people as we can as we look at a possible initiative in November. We are really excited to be able to do this, and a lot of the money for this came from current year dollars, from savings in various areas that Colleen can address more. It's about a $15.3 million one-time investment. The payments won't be made until September, and again, Amanda Thompson will talk about the details of those, but we're really excited to be able to do this for our staff in the hope of communicating to them how much they are honored and how much we want to keep them. Okay, and so even after, again, as I mentioned, even after these investments, our staff will continue. I thought I could start my video, but I don't think I can. Our staff will continue to be under market, pretty significantly under market, but this will really help. Investing in our schools, we invested in funding for our small schools. So that's that equity piece. It's making sure that to the extent of our ability with our resources that we can continue to offer programming in our small schools. Increases in site-based budgets, alternative education programming, again, an equity issue to make sure that every student has the kind of education that they need for their own individual needs. And we were able to use grant funding for additional mental health support. We invested in our support systems. We looked at investments that would focus on the impact on schools and students. We invested in special education support as we do every single year. We invested in additional alternative education and career and technical education programs that will occupy the former Wildlife Experience building and the former ACC Parker building. And we also invested in extra activity pay. So Schedule A This provides our students with opportunities in athletics, activities, music, performing arts, etc. Schedule A was cut during COVID as a necessity to make sure that we could go through COVID. So we have restored those cuts, and we have also put Schedule A in our elementary schools so that our teachers can be compensated for offering our kids after-school activities in athletics activities, music, band, orchestra, choir, etc. So we're really excited about those investments. Next slide, please. And the last thing I want to address as an overview here are our risks and opportunities. So under our current budget assumptions, based on the new schedule, we can only draw on unassigned fund balance until the beginning of 26-27. After that, we'll have to make some decisions to determine how to be able to move forward with our compensation structure. We have continued increases in special education costs. So every year we have more and more special education students with more and more significant needs. So just making everyone aware that those costs will continue to increase. And of course, we will continue to see the cost impacts due to inflationary pressures. Now, we also have some opportunities. Of course, the biggest opportunity is to address ongoing investment in compensation and being more competitive with a potential mill levy override. We have the opportunity to address programming, et cetera, available in our small schools by creating a long-term plan for our declining feeders. So we really need to spend next year going through our declining feeders and coming up with a comprehensive 3 to 5 year plan on how we're going to make those feeders more efficient and also continue to serve students. And then finally, we have the opportunity to mitigate fund balance depletion. So our compensation schedule does not have to continue to draw down on fund balance. It will continue to draw down on fund balance because the board saved the fund balance for this reason. And so it's fine that we're doing that, but we can't do that forever. So we can mitigate that depletion by limiting increases to the salary schedule, to the available revenue in that year. And we can also adjust staffing levels as needed. So those are kind of all of our opportunities. It is certainly our goal to have a balanced budget again in the year 25-26. So again, we are purposefully drawing down fund balance over the next few years because that was how we planned to do it, and we have the fund balance to be able to do that. But by 25-26, we need to be back in a balanced budget so that we can carry it forward. And I think we can absolutely do that by being creative. So with that, I want to introduce Director Colleen Doan. And Colleen, thank you so much for being there to do the presentation. And I'm going to go on mute now, and I'm happy to answer any questions at the end.
All right. Well, good evening, directors. So before I begin, have Amanda Thompson and Jana Schleisner here. Jana will be our new interim Chief Financial Officer. So excited to have her join us in these budget presentations. And Amanda will be speaking specifically to the details of compensation in a little bit. So before we get into the details, just to level set, much of the assumption information has already been presented to you all through the last two presentations in April. And so we're here to provide minimal changes of things that did change in the last month, but really to focus on those investments that Ms. Kane spoke about. So to speak to the changes in our budget assumptions, this is the same layout as presented, so we can see 2 years side by side where we were a year ago compared to today. The first line, the per pupil revenue, is a great celebration. Number one, that it is such a large increase year over year. So that per pupil revenue of $9,192 per student is final. For the first time in now 3 years, the state legislative session concluded prior to our proposed budget, and we actually are going into our proposed budget knowing the resources we will have available from the state, while the previous 2 years we were still guessing as the sessions weren't complete yet. So that is the number that we will have. So House Bill 1390, which set that School Finance Act, includes a budget stabilization factor, formerly known as the negative factor, of $321 million. That drops that budget stabilization factor down to just 3.7%, so that is historically low percentage of a budget stabilization factor. And the year-over-year increase through the School Finance Act and the PPR for DCSD is over 6%. So that is a large increase that we are very excited about for this upcoming year. The majority of the middle sections are the same within this slide, but we have now put dollar amounts in, updated dollar amounts for the compensation section. And we'll speak more to where those numbers came from when we get into our compensation slides. And then the final change from when this was last presented is the bottom line on the available unassigned general fund reserves. The amount available is less than what was presented last time because the retention stipends are going to be paid out this year. So when we factor in, we're paying out $15 million in the current year, that draws down what is available going into next year. So that is a slight change from what was presented on consent agenda in third quarter financials on May 10th. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Thompson to speak more about our compensation, and then we will get into the other investments.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I'm having trouble getting it to go forward. Would you be able to move that slide forward?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. So as you know, as we continue in our compensation work and everything that we do related to this, we want to ensure that we are using our board end statements and our strategic plan themes to have that purpose of our why. So of course, it is around enriching that positive and supportive culture and also recruitment and retention of our employees. So you've seen something similar to this before, and I know that Ms. Doan has updated this, and I'll walk you through it, although I'll leave it to her brilliance to go through the actual dollar amounts or answer questions and related to that. The white bar up top outlines the implementation starting in year 1, so this coming July 1, in relation to our licensed salary schedules. And then the cost associated increases all through school year 26-27. Now the gray area details the percentage of staff on the schedule. What that means is the number of staff who are assigned by their credentials and through our information in our salary guide to actually be in their designated cell. So those that were very under before are now on. And their compression has been eliminated, which is a huge celebration. So for example, in the first year, we have 73% of our staff all the way to, this is assuming no human changes, right? In 26-27, 89% of our staff. The remainder of those individuals are those that are designated above cell, so that their current salary is earning more than what their education and years experience attainment. You'll see that it says NA on 22-23. That's because we are not going to apply any increases to the actual base salary, and that is because we are implementing in year 1 with the model that you have seen. Other future years, you'll see that 2%, and that, I believe, would be applied to the base salary schedule. So shared again, this first bullet would just explains, again, for individuals who are above their cell, they will receive their increase in a one-time pay, para-includable, for that year's highest average salary of 2%. And also, those that are below their cell, again, their increase would be to get them there. So if we have an individual, for example, a teacher, who it takes a very small amount, less than 2%, to get them to their cell, the remainder of that increase would be paid out to total that percentage increase in a one-time pay. Of course, as of right now, our starting salaries are listed here, and as Ms. Kane so wonderfully said, is that as soon as we hit July 1, we know we are going to have some that are at what we're at or above. And so we want to continue to and stress to our employees that we are not done doing this great work, and we are committing to increase and enhance over time. with the feedback from our employees. The overall, as shared before, average salary increase for our staff in our licensed realm is approximately 8%. Non-licensed compensation. So we have completed our first phase of the non-licensed compensation project. So that includes our non-licensed employees in the classified ranks, administrative and professional technical ranks. So that is just about the other 50% of our employees when you separate from our licensed. And this was multi-layered. And again, it's, as Ms. Kane said, as complex as our licensed individual project was, but it is just complex in a different way. So Team HR and other members created a market analysis or completed a market analysis and reviewed all of our job types. Because we cannot be exactly at market right now, our goal was to be within 5% of the market as a beginning goal. And there were positions in which were extremely low, well below 5%, and we identified those as well. So we adjusted the pay ranges and the individuals within there, and the maximum range adjustment at this time is no more than 8% at this time. But again, we know that we have much more work to be done. We also looked at positions, and these positions were positions that are just open, vacant all year long. And so, and we're highly competitive in terms of trying to recruit these individuals in the very small number of people that we have. For example, our labor shortage group of individuals. And so those were the places where we would increase up to 8%. And then, of course, we had to make some very tough decisions on what those minimum pay increases would be for all non-licensed staff. And so for the places where we have people in all of those employee groups for non-licensed where they're below minimum, they would be brought, so new hires according to, all of their credentials would be brought to minimum. And then we know that for our current employees who would be already below minimum, we did not just think it was fair to put them just at the minimum. We needed to move them further along because we did not want to cause any compression. And so when our employees see that information coming out in their pay notifications here soon, I'll go into that in a bit, that will explain why their increase was in a particular area. So those that were within range, our administrator group, it's approximately a 3.5% increase. Pro-Tech, or professional technical, 3.5%, and classified a 4% increase. Just like with our licensed employees, the individuals who fall outside of their salary, the top salary for their range, their increase would be, again, in a one-time para-includable stipend and counts towards highest average salary for that year. We did that in this current year as well, last July 1. And again, like we have committed and we will continue to do so with sustained funding, we will keep making strides to keep improving and become more competitive. As it took years of different practices to get us here, it will take continued diligence and time to keep improving our pay systems over time. Overall, you'll note average salary for non-licensed is approximately 6%, and you'll see the percentage increases there for each group. I believe this is my last slide. So as Ms. Kane shared, we're pleased to be able to offer a retention bonus or stipend for our employees who return and come back in the new school year. Some of the little logistics about it, yes, it will be paid out in September payroll, and thank you to our finance and payroll and budget departments that we have a lot of information ready to go, and we do notify our employees just to answer all those nuances of what applies to them. Full-time positions, which we are deeming equal to or greater than 0.75 FTE, those individuals will receive $2,000. Part-time positions, so less than 0.75 FTE, will receive $1,000. And we are saying that this is for those that are eligible as a regular employee and our 110 employees. We felt like our retirees are committing to come back and serve and support us year after year, and so they are inclusive of this. But it does exclude other temporary and seasonal groups of employees. This is for anyone who fits in this regular employee group whose start date is prior to 6/30 of 2022. So we do have some positions posted, and we can't wait to have those people start ASAP and come back to see us and work with us. And we have the requirement also that these employees would need to remain active through our first semester. I know that often our employees who are on leave for various reasons, that's a big question and theme that comes up. They are eligible for those that return prior to the end of the semester, which is during that period of time in which we're paying this out. When we take all of this into consideration and add that into the other average increases for each of our employee groups, with adding the retention pay into it, average salary increase is around 10% for non-licensed and around 12% for licensed. I would love to turn this over now, thank you for the opportunity to speak, to Colleen. Ms. Doan, sorry about that.
All right, so as we speak to our other investments, we'll start with our schools and then we'll transition to our supports. So this is all dollar amounts in addition to compensation. Obviously, the compensation that Ms. Thompson spoke about will be applicable to our staff in our schools and our staff in our departments. So this is programmatic and additional FTE increases that we are talking about. So within our schools, most of our investments, as Ms. Kane spoke about, are through our site-based budget. That is the budgeting methodology that we use for our neighborhood schools. So this is our second year of budgeting under our new weighted student funding formula. We've incorporated feedback from our principals through our budget steering committee in order to make some of those modifications. So as discussed last month, we are investing through an increase to our small school factor to redesign that to impact more schools positively for a little under $400,000. We have returned our certified substitutes to be a non-discretionary allocation, meaning that the schools receive funding to cover their sick and daily subs and don't have to take that out of their carryover eligible discretionary budget. We make sure that our purchasing power is held flat, meaning all else held equal, so same number of staff, same number of students, that schools can budget for the staff despite the staff costing more. So that means that the base increases to reflect staff costing more. And that is always retroactive, so that increase to the budget that you see there of $9.8 million is to reflect the pay increases that went to staff last July. Because we budget on average salaries, schools will not be on the hook for these pay increases we just spoke about. That'll all even itself out in next year's, or the, I guess, 23, 24 SVBs that they will build next year. We just will hold those pay increases centrally within our budget. And then as Ms. Kane discussed, we will utilize some grant funding to increase our mental health support. So we want to make sure that all of our schools have a minimum of a 1.0, either social worker or a psychologist, and we will be increasing that in this first year through funding from ESSER grants. And then finally, we do have schools that don't utilize the site-based budget, and those alternative schools, plus Cherry Valley Elementary, they will have a total budget increase of about $1.4 million to reflect their staffing and programming needs. So overall, our SVB is the single largest component of our general fund. It'll be about $373 million next year. That does just represent a 2% increase year over year in the SVB. However, that's 2% after taking into consideration we will have 837 less budgeted students. So that amount would be significantly higher if our student population was held flat. So then investing in our district supports, these are our departments and district-wide operations budgeted out of the general fund. All right, I'm not very good with the clicker today. There we go. So, oh, I went too many slides. Sorry about that. So this should look familiar to you. The pie chart hasn't changed. However, I have provided some additional context around it. So again, we have aligned our department operational budgets with our strategic themes within our strategic plan, so that any service, supply, good or service that we are budgeting for next year is in alignment with the priorities of the school district. So I do want to clarify that this includes contracted services. So that may be in situations, we'll take mental health, for example, where we're unable to fill the positions internally with staff due to labor shortages, so we contract that service out. So that is reflected within here in those totals. So overall, our department budgets represent 24% of our general fund. You can actually see a full breakout in the financial plan and budget that is within your agenda item. And so that's what we're talking about in terms of context. And then the non-personnel or operations is 8% of the total general fund because, again, most of the dollars are in compensation and also most of the dollars are in schools. So you can look at it kind of three-dimensionally that way. So that puts some context around these percentages here when we say that 66% of our department non-personnel are for the health, safety, and social emotional support as self-reported by department directors. So again, like I mentioned, that includes contracted services. So just to highlight a few items that are included within that largest category, we have on the physical safety, our school resource officers and other operational items with our security department. On the social emotional side, we have our mental health teams, our special education, both the programming and any contracted services that we're unable to do in-house. So those are a few examples of some of those areas. All right. So as we speak to some of that detail, within the department budget increases, I'm not going to go line by line through all this, but happy to answer any questions that you have. You can see that overall, we're adding about $14.5 million into our departments funded by the general fund. This is the total expense increase. Some of that is offset by dedicated sources of revenue that we wouldn't have without the departments, or intentional drawdown of fund balances that are restricted for particular uses, such as cash in lieu of land. And so the overall net increase is about 11 million because we have about 3.5 million of resources we can use to offset some of these costs. And we are investing in adding an additional 39.7 FTE. A large number of those will ultimately long-term reside within school or school-like budgets because they are associated with the startup of the new alternative education school as well as the former wildlife experience building. So as we speak to the alignment of our one-time versus our ongoing, we need to first speak to, what are those top priorities again that Ms. Kane spoke about and how is our budget aligned with that? So as we look at compensation and just the parts that are associated with the 22-23 proposed budget, we are investing $44.1 million in increased compensation. So this is the licensed, the non-licensed, plus enhancements to benefits. For example, we are adding in the Colorado Doctors Plan. Para rate goes up, which we have no control over, other things like that. That $44.1 million does not include the $15 million of retention stipends because that's going to be a current year expense, not a next year's budget. So you combine those two, you can truly see the investment we're going to be making over the next 12-month period in our compensation. Just to summarize the SBB changes I spoke about, that is a total of $4.8 million. Just looking at truly new programming, so taking out that purchasing power piece, because that's already, that's just catching up. And then our departments, so talking about those increases in our support systems to focus on the impact to schools and students. So with that alignment, this is an updated version of what was shown last month as well. There's a more detailed list of the one-time versus ongoing sources and uses in the appendix to this presentation. So I'm just going to, on the revenue side, highlight a few changes, then speak big picture to why this matters. So the first change referenced here is the unassigned fund balance increase. Again, that is a lowered number because we are paying the retention stipends this year. I've then updated the special education state categorical revenue to reflect that final bill passage and the numbers that CDE told us we would be receiving. And then finally have added in a summary of other general fund related increases or decreases due to drawdown of fund balance. And so those are the following 3 lines there, so that is a comprehensive look at all of the changes that will occur on the revenue and reserve side of our general fund. And as you can see there, our one-time resources exceed our ongoing, so we will be drawing down fund balance because these resources, once they're used, they will be depleted. On the expense side, again, those numbers have not materially changed. However, I have broken out now the license compensation and non-license into the combination of one-time and ongoing, where previously it was all consolidated in the ongoing column because we recognize that, as Ms. Thompson discussed, there will be some staff who will be limited to a 2% one-time para-includable increase instead of base increase because they are either above cell or they are maxed within their range. And then in addition to the priorities of our compensation schools and district supports, have added in just a summary of the other changes that you would see in the general fund that are more procedural, such as updating TABOR, updating the interfund transfers, etc. So overall there, you'll see we have the reverse situation where our ongoing expenses exceed our one-time expenses. And so the whole point of this slide is to show you that while this is definitely staff supported for the upcoming year, we are intentionally drawing down fund balance. This is not sustainable indefinitely because we do not have an alignment of our resources with our expenses in terms of either one-time or ongoing. So we'll next speak to what does this look like long-term as we speak to the goal of a balanced budget in 2025-2026. So just to lay out some assumptions first. So first I want to say that this is for modeling purposes only. We're not presenting a 3-year proposed budget. Colorado, you budget in single fiscal years, but it's purely in order to present scenarios to you all for financial modeling purposes. So on the revenue side, the assumptions that we use to grow the revenue, first is we use total program, which is the School Finance Act formula, and changes to the budget stabilization factor based on increasing the base by inflation. So the School Finance Act uses the local CPI, and these are the amounts that were projected by Legislative Council. So we don't try and predict the economy ourselves, we take what the experts tell us. We've also included as if there is a continued buy down of the budget stabilization factor. Certainly future legislation could change that, whether through a referred measure or an citizen initiative, but as of current law, this is what we are projecting. On the enrollment side, we take our enrollment projections from our planning department and what the demographer from Western Demographics prepares on behalf of the school district. So our projections do show that we will have minimal decline ongoing for our neighborhood schools, and the charter school enrollment is held flat. We also are including within here no new charters opening between now and 25-26 because the Board of Education has not yet authorized any new charters to open. So that would certainly change numbers as well if the Board of Education were to authorize additional charter schools. The other large assumption is that this does not contemplate any new tax revenue, such as a mill levy override or bond. So on the expense side, this is where we factor in the multi-year forecast for our license compensation schedules and some base scenarios for our non-license. So on the license side, what it looks at are those numbers that Amanda spoke to earlier, which is the assumption that we would have steps provided to employees every year of service. It does not contemplate any horizontal lane advancement or any changes to the model itself, such as increasing the percentage amount at each steps. So that is all excluded from here. Additionally, unlike the numbers shown previously, this does not show any annual schedule increases, so it holds the base for each of the 3 schedules flat. On the non-licensed side, the increases are just benefit related. We did not include, for purposes of this, any increases on annual base compensation. However, we also know that all else held equal, certainly we could have staffing changes in our schools and departments. We will need to return select positions to the general fund in the next year because the grants that have been covering those positions will be expiring. It'll certainly be a conversation whether we continue those positions or not, but for modeling purposes, we have assumed that those positions would continue and we'd be picking them up here. And then finally, para is just an ever-growing expense. So there is the increase that is determined for July 1, and then I've modeled another increase in 2 years from now. So outside of compensation, again, wanted to really focus on that because it's 85% of the general fund expenses, but minimal increases to our purchase services, supplies, other expenses in our contingency to reflect some of the items that I've referred to before as non-discretionary, where we know from inflationary pressures they have to go up, but otherwise assuming that largely we would live within our means and have just a budget reallocation in other areas where we needed to add operationally. Our charter school pass-through will continue to grow, both based upon the charter enrollment becoming a larger percentage of the total population, as well as the increase to their PPR. And then finally, there will be increases to various transfers to other funds to reflect commitments that will be needed over there. So when we take that all into consideration, look at that in terms of the financials, the first column on the left is that proposed budget. So you can see the proposed budget of all of the funds and our historical information in the financial plan and budget. It's approximately 70-page attachment with the materials tonight. But that is that column there. It's identical information, just at a very summarized level. And then you can see those 3 years of projections utilizing the assumptions I discussed. So in each of these years, we will be drawing down fund balance. And you'll see that on the net income loss line that's bolded towards the bottom. We will, however, continue to maintain positive unassigned reserves as we are required to have a budget that does not represent a deficit in our unassigned in our reserves in general. However, you will see that continually decreasing so that going from 22-23, that's about $15.7 million down to $13.6 million by 25-26. So the goal, as Ms. Kane discussed, is for 25-26 to be a balanced budget. So in modeling purposes, but there will be a ways to go to get it from these projections to a balanced budget. Finally, that does not include any increases to local taxes or, again, annual schedule increases or increases to the size or percentage of our steps. So wrapping up with our other funds. So again, we have resources outside of our general fund. And so the first category we actually classify them as general fund, but we don't speak to it that way in our budget presentations. So first is outdoor education. We are not budgeting any major changes. We assume that there will be a continued rebuild of full programming as we kind of went partial way this year, but we'll expect to see that continuing to grow and restore to kind of pre-COVID operations in our outdoor education down at Stone Canyon. In our capital projects fund, you will see a fairly significant drawdown of fund balance. We have been strategically saving that over time because we knew that in 22-23 and 23-24, we would need those expenses in order to complete projects that were committed as part of the overall bond planning in 2018 that the bond would not be able to fully support. So for example, we have technology refresh and upgrades in addition to what the bond is covering that's already been committed and planned for our student and staff devices. And we have our cash in lieu of land, which is restricted for growth needs, which will be funding a portion of completing the construction work at the former Wildlife Experience building. So all of that is planned to be spent down in this upcoming year. Within our transportation fund, so they actually have their own separate fund, you'll see there are increases to expenses, fairly significantly actually, mainly for out-of-district transportation, for special education services. We need to purchase new buses. Even without a future bond, there are bus purchases that need to be made. And our budget retains all of the budgeted driver and TEA vacancies. We will be able, one last time, to use savings from the one-time fund balance in transportation fund, so this is separate from the general fund, to offset these increases, but be aware that absent expense reductions or other revenue increases in transportation, we would need to increase that interfund transfer a year from now for 23-24. In our special revenue funds, so these are funds that are outside of the general fund and have their own revenue source. The biggest thing with nutrition services is that we will be returning back to our paid meal programs, with the exception of students who qualify for free and reduced lunch. And so we will have paid lunches. All that communication has been going out to all of our families. And so that changes up the structure of their funds with the reduced federal funding. Our governmental designated purpose grant funds will be less next year than this year because of the drawdown spend of our ESSER funds. So while we will continue to have some of our ESSER grants into next school year, the vast majority of that spend is occurring this year, and so you'll see that that is a smaller recommended appropriation for the upcoming year. Our pupil activity fund is where we have student clubs and other co-curricular activity that reflects a normal return to kind of pre-COVID level of operations. Our athletics and activities fund, this is where you will see those increases to Schedule A that Ms. Kane spoke about. So the increases to reflect adding back positions that were cut in 2020 due to COVID, and increasing the stipend amount of all of those positions at our secondary levels. The elementary implementation of Schedule A will stay within the general fund. And then our child care fund, this is for our base program, before and after school. They were a recipient of a grant, the Child Care Operations Stabilization and Workforce Sustainability Grants, and you will see that reflected within their budget as well to assist with some of the lost tuition that they've experienced over the last 2 years. So finally, we have other funds that don't fit into those other categories. So our bond redemption reflects the early payoff of our 2010 bond series that will occur next month. This does not reflect any refunding of other bonds that you have approved a resolution on. This reflects just what we are at the current point in time moving forward on. No changes to our certificate of participation lease payment funds. Our bond building does show a decrease in this spend and a drawdown of those reserves, as we naturally will be spending down the bond, with the summer of '23 the last large push for spend, as we fully plan to spend it by the end of calendar year '23. Our trust fund, which is for scholarships for high school graduating seniors, no changes there, and no changes to our short-term disability insurance fund either. And then our final one is our medical and dental fund, and this is where you will see the changes from Cigna Allegiance to United Healthcare for our self-insured plans with the implementation of the Colorado Doctors Plans. So again, there are no premium increases passed along to our employees. Any of our increases, including this increase to Kaiser, will be fully absorbed by the school district, and so you will see that reflected within the premium line because there are district paid premiums in there, as well as fund balance. And we'll be able to start to rebuild the contingency using the current modeling on our projected claims based on the implementation of the new Colorado Doctors Plan, which will result in cost savings for the school district. So as we wrap up, our next steps here, we have a little over 30 days until the end of the fiscal year, but there's still a lot left to do. So we will be back before you on June 21st to present the budget again for formal adoption. So you're not voting tonight. Tonight is purely for discussion. and to start the process of gathering the formal public feedback. So all of that information will then be brought forward, including any revisions based upon tonight's conversation or other changes that need to happen in the next 4 weeks. On the 21st, you will be approving and signing the budget-related resolutions. So this includes the appropriation resolution. This is the authority to spend the dollars. It's really important because even if we get increased revenue, if you don't appropriate it, we can't spend it. The use of beginning fund balance, this is for any of our funds where we are drawing down those reserves. And then finally, we also have the participation in the state's interest-free loan program. Later this summer, after the adoption of the budget, we will build and publish our adopted budget book, which will include everything that's in the adopted budget, plus a bunch more information on all of our schools, departments, academics, achievements over the course of the last year. And then finally, we intend to continue our collaboration with the Fiscal Oversight Committee on the creation of a Citizen's Guide to the Budget, which is a condensed version really intended for the general public who wants to know more about the school district's finances. So that concludes the presentation today, and so now I'm open to any questions, and don't know if we still have Ms. Kane with us, but she'll be assisting with the answering of any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Stone and others. Do we have any questions or comments from directors? Director Weiniger?
Thank you. You always do a great job on these presentations, Ms. Stone, and you did a great job again today. And Amanda, thank you for all the hard work on getting our pay competitive for our great teachers and to your staff. And Jana, welcome as the interim CFO. Thank you for taking that on. I just have a few questions. You guys answered a bunch of them in your presentation, so it's just a few. But I think this is really important because it does show that we need an MLO in order to support ourselves in the years going forward. So that's very much shown in this budget. I had a question about the wildlife experience. Is the revenues from that for renting out the space at all, does that go straight back to the building on for the programs that we're going to put into it?
So, excuse me, we actually haven't built into the budget yet any revenue from the rentals yet, so Janet and I actually need to talk about that. We intend to, if we get a solid projection in the next 4 weeks, to have that as part of the adopted budget, and then those will be earmarked within our budget for the former wildlife experience so that we can see the profitability, per se, of running that program.
Great, thank you. Another question I had was on slide 26 with the forecast. There's a large change in our net loss between 23-24 to 24-25. And I couldn't figure out what that large change was. Do you happen to know? Because we're going from losing 8 million to losing 22 the next year.
A large portion of it is associated with the enrollment.
Okay.
And so I would have to get back to you later with the exact breakdown of what it is and how you can see it in the line items.
Oh, that's fine.
But I do recall when building this that it's based upon the enrollment projections.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
May I jump in real quick?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, and so Colleen's right, and if you actually go to the prior slide, the 25, one of the big changes is in the assumptions around that forecast. I'm not seeing what I'm looking for here, but the assumptions, Colleen, in terms of the projected inflation. Yeah, this one. Yeah, so it drops from 3.8. You can see it, the assumptions from the Legislative Staff Council go from 7% to 3.8% to 2.4%.
Gotcha. Thank you. And then the last question I had was if you guys have thought about how fuel costs have basically doubled, if that was taken into account, or did you just use the CPI for your guess on or estimate for the fuel?
Yeah, so He actually just had a conversation a few days ago with our transportation department regarding fuel, and we utilized our current projection to set the budget for fuel for next year. And then our transportation director has actually, talked with her colleagues in other school districts and experts to get projections moving forward, which we are comfortable right now with the budget we have built for fuel for the upcoming school year.
Great, thank you. And then I just had one last comment. Sorry, I know I said that was my last question. Just to talk about the FOC, they've been emailed this. They're gonna have a chance to review at their next meeting and put together a memo for the board. And they're currently actually emailing me comments and questions, so I know they're on it, so we'll get that.
Okay, other directors? I've got a couple. Just, again, some comments. The retention payment, to be able to find that within this year's budget, to not impact next year's budget, and really reward folks, I think, with some outstanding work by everyone up here in front of us. So really applaud that effort. Also, the activity pay, if Mr. Seller, if you're listening over at Castleview, and others who have wrote in and really advocated for restoring those programs that were cut, especially during COVID. We're hearing you, we're listening, and it's really good to see performing arts, athletics, music, and things move back towards where they were. I think that's a real important part of the return to normal. So again, an excellent job there. The comp work, especially for the non-licensed stuff, having done some of this in my own company, you cannot understate the number of man hours it takes to look across every position, come up with a competitive rate, and do the analysis. So that must have been, I don't know how many man hours of work, but it was significant. So thank you to everyone involved. My one question, if you can go to slide 18, I think it is, and it's where we look at it's the pie chart with that one. I want to kind of paraphrase what I think you said, Ms. Stone. That huge chunk we see in theme 1 on health, safety, and social emotional is a little bit of not apples to oranges, if I'm understanding you correct, because that has a lot of comp type stuff in it, because the rest don't, meaning just on your comments, mental health workers, some special education contractors, safety contractors, their actual salaries, I guess, are in that chunk. What would that look like if we put salaries in for the other areas? I imagine it would look incredibly different.
So I just want to clarify, the assumptions used in building this were the same across all 6 of the themes. It just so happens that that theme includes a lot more contracted services than the other themes. So there are contracted services included within all of the areas, but it's just naturally not as much. So for example, the aligned curriculum, that's curriculum, that's not people. And so it just happens that our health, safety, and social emotional, we need to outsource a lot of that work. So it's not us paying salaries, it's us paying a contractor that is paid by another organization. If we were to take the contracted services out, it is about, I believe, 17 to 18 million of that 29.9 million in there.
All right, so bottom line is it's not an indication of prioritization and misweighting across our strategic framework. It's just that there are a lot of people in that first category, and we're not seeing the people costs in the other categories.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that that's what we were in fact looking at, so thank you. Other director comments or questions? Director Ray? Or sorry, Director Hanson, go ahead.
Mine will be quick, and it may fit actually better into the consent agenda, so if you'd like me to hold, that's fine. You had just mentioned the Theme 4 aligned curriculum, and I saw in item number 12, we are approving ESSER grants for curricular resources for several of our charter schools, and I'm just wondering if the district was eligible to apply for those same grants, and if we did.
Turn it over to Mr. Matt Reynolds.
Sure.
Yes, that was an ESSER-funded grant for curriculums. It's a very highly competitive grant, and so as a district, we did not apply, but individual charter schools did. The criteria is based on the demographics of schools, and so based on our overall demographics for our school district, We didn't think as an overall district that we would actually get an award because it's very, very competitive. But for individual schools who may have that demographic match, it seemed like a better fit.
Perfect. And individual schools, individual neighborhood schools within the district were not eligible. Only the district umbrella could apply, correct?
As a general rule, yes. I mean,
Okay.
we could have gotten creative with
Sure.
looking at different demographics, but generally speaking, ESSER funds as a whole, you have to have a district-wide approach to it, and so that's what made that particular grant very challenging for us to apply for.
Perfect. I appreciate the explanation. Thanks.
Director Ray?
Well, first of all, welcome, Ms. Fleischner and Ms. Doan. It's nice to have the dynamic duo back on our floor. Again, well done, great overview. I want to jump to just a few slides, if I could, some questions. I think on slide 12 and to Ms. Thompson regarding license compensation. One of the, well, first of all, what is the range? So we know in the low end, it's 2%. All staff are guaranteed at least a 2% pay increase. What was on the high end? So we went from 2% to some staff will have a what percent of an increase on the high end?
That would be something I would have to meet with Ms. Doan on, and we can get you that
Okay.
that amount.
Because I think sometimes averages are hard because there's that assumption that everyone's getting an 8% average increase. So I think it's helpful for us to look at that range, that it's from a 2% to maybe, I don't know, 15%. And then it would be helpful too to know how many of our staff are getting or receiving, X percent of pay increase, just how that breaks out. It would just be helpful information for us as we're talking to our public, because I think sometimes it's difficult to understand averages because numbers get lost in averages. The other question
I can answer that one. I can answer that if that's okay.
Yes.
Sure.
We have 27% of our licensed staff will be receiving the one-time 2% Director Ray because they are at their cell. So because they're at or above their cell already, they will be getting a 2%, and that's 27% of our licensed staff. That was a very good question. And certainly I have spoken to a lot of staff out in our system who are a little frustrated that they are at their cell and get that 2%. It was my hope that the retention bonus would help with that. But what I've been communicating is that we had to start somewhere. Sure. So we had to have a salary schedule that started somewhere. And now as we look at resources going into the future, we can look at how to improve that, but that will be based on resources. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you. That does help.
Thank you, Ms. Kane.
So on this slide too, one of the things, Ms. Thompson, has come up from staff that have been here for a while are those staff that were on a step and lane schedule back in 2011. And so and I don't think we had this discussion before, so I'm just curious, because I know we did certainly have the discussion around above cell, below cell, but if we have a staff member that was at a certain step in 2011, and then we come back, I know that we're granting 7 years of outside district experience, but what we're hearing from some of those staff members is that they're losing steps of experience. So in other words, they would have expected, in 2011, if I was on step 6, I would add 11 years and I should be at this step on the
Right.
salary. Can you address that a little bit?
Sure,
Because
thank
that took
you.
me by surprise.
We have heard that in HR as well, and as we've engaged with our teachers and our other licensed staff. So we did not utilize the Forber schedule, even though it looks similar to what we have now. So when we looked at all of our employees in our licensed realm, we applied an even and equal, transparent process in terms of how we set individuals, and did not utilize, due to lots of different reasons, where they were placed prior. So this wasn't as we look at it, the various ranges or other structures that we had were not utilized. We're looking at their credentials, the dollar amount that we had to allocate toward it, and lots of other factors in terms of how to fit as many people within their cell as possible. What we are seeing is, again, lots of opportunity with future sustained funding to increase, we are keeping a list of things in feedback from our employees of whether it's increasing the base, whether it's adding more steps down, whether it's adding more PD credit that we aren't able to accept at this time. So due to, again, the amount of dollars that we had allocated for that in this first year, and the challenge of wanting to have as many people on cell and not above cell, that 27%. As we've shared before, it was, this was our best effort and our best model that we could come forward with at this time.
Yeah, thank you. I think it is a difficult concept to understand, because when you are brought on to a step schedule, that's assumed that that's the experience that I'm being given credit for. That's the years of experience. And so it feels like, I know for some employees, I'm losing years of experience when that doesn't pick up. But I totally understand the dilemma that you've been under. I would just be curious if how many employees we have that are in that position where they were on a salary schedule or a step schedule, and then all of a sudden it looks like they've lost some steps with our current schedule.
And those are great comments and questions. In fact, what we are finding in a lot of instances as Team HR of all staff are engaging with our licensed staff on this, a lot of times even when we were to look at say we provided those additional years, they'd still be at their max cell at the end of the lane.
Okay.
And so a lot of these individuals are at that point of needing to shift over a lane. And what I can say is I celebrate our licensed staff who are heavily engaging in professional development in terms of credit attainment through universities. And we've had even more engagement with our employees on, I just want to make sure I'm going to take this class this summer. Is this a university that, look at this example transcript, because we have, of course, our educators are very diligent and want to do the right thing and want to double check. So I would foresee a lot of interest in horizontal advancement processes that start next week.
And then another question I have is about the retention one-time stipend. I know we did that a year ago, or back in September. We did something similar to really show our appreciation for staff getting through those horrific years. Have we done any kind of surveying of staff to see, is that something that they appreciate? I mean, obviously, everyone appreciates another $1,000 in their pocket, but I'm just curious, we use the term retention, and these employees have already been retained, technically, so it's kind of an odd term in my mind that we say retention. It's more of a gratification, if you will, to say thank you for staying with us for another year. But I'm just curious if we've done any kind of survey, if that actually motivates staff to say, you know what, I'm going to stay another year because of these one-time stipends that we're receiving. Any data on that or any kind of response?
I would say in a formal sense, no. But in hearing from our employees where Ms. Kane shared about that 2% increase for those over cell, it was more of what more can we do to show that value for right now. And we do want our employees to return, and we can't wait to see their wonderful faces. And in having just a little bit of information around the metro area, it is kind of a trend right now as well. Other districts are doing the same in various amounts.
Very good.
So just to piggyback on that, I guess in my mind, that was more, what I took away from that was not only was it retention, but it adjusts those average pays for the pay for license from 8 to 12%, the non-licensed from 6 to 10%. It's kind of a jump start into getting things back online. I assume that's the other.
And it does, thank you, Director Peterson, thank you both. It does account toward that highest average salary.
If I could add something, President Peterson.
Please do.
I would add that because it is a set amount for every employee, it has a massive impact on our classified staff in terms of retention, our EAs, et cetera. $2,000 is a lot of money when you're making between $13 and $15 an hour. So it really has an impact on our support staff as well in terms of retention from year to year. And I think that's really important. Although I also agree that it might be interesting, would be interesting to collect some data.
Thank you for that. And we have heard feedback from our classified staff of when there are percentage increases. Of course, each percentage, depending on your group, means a different amount. So we are hoping by that flat dollar amount through that retention pay would be extremely helpful to all employees, especially our classified.
And it might just be for me timing too. I mean, and hear me loud and clear, any chance we can put more money in our employees' pockets, you'll get a definite yes from me. But I also wonder, you know, if we were to say to our employees back in earlier, like in April, especially our classified employees, oh, by the way, you come back to us in August, $2,000 is approved. That seems like more of a retention. I think Superintendent Kane shared with us some statistics around turnover, and our classified employees has a high percentage of turnover. And so I am concerned that we do everything we can to really encourage them to hang in there with us as we continue to improve the salary schedule. So I think sometimes we might want to think about timing. You know, that if we're going to do we're doing a retainment stipend, then maybe we ought to approve it earlier so that before we lose that 20% of our classified, they know that we're going to give you $2,000 in August if you stay with us. Just a thought.
Thank you for that feedback.
Yeah.
Other comments, questions from directors? Okay, thank you to Ms. Stone. Ms. Thompson?
If I could
Go ahead.
jump in. Thank you. Thanks so much for the presentation. It's always great to have an opportunity to have the budget presented and have our community have a month to review it and provide feedback. There were just two areas that I wanted to ask a couple of questions. One is on universal pre-K. I know we have about a year to plan before we are offering the 10 hours for universal pre-K. I'm wondering, have we allocated people or resources to this budget to help in that planning? And I'll just stop with the first question.
I can jump in if you'd like, President Peterson. I'm sorry, I have a hard time hearing you.
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay that I'm jumping in.
We've got Deputy Superintendent Hyatt all queued up to answer if she'd like to take it, and then I guess we could turn it over to you, Superintendent.
I will let Deputy Superintendent Hyatt take it first. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you for the question, Director Meek. We have started formulating or forming a internal task force that will be working on the implementation of universal pre-K. And as part of the budget process, we did approve an assistant director for early childhood education, knowing that we have to build capacity within that team to lead the work in this area that's coming in the next year.
Okay, and Superintendent, do you have any other comments on that?
Nope, Deputy Superintendent Hyatt said it perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, back to Director Meek.
Comment is for the rest of the board. I think it might be very helpful for us to have a study session on this topic at some point, scheduled with some individuals coming in to present, and maybe that's something for us to think about when we're on our retreat, like the right timing on that. My other question really dealt with the special education state categorical revenue. We have this great opportunity with over $6 million coming in through Senate Bill 22-127. This may be more of a comment than anything, but I just want to make sure that we're using as much as possible to supplement special education funding as opposed to supplanting funding. I know we don't come anywhere close to fully funding special education from the dollars that we receive, state and federal. This just seems like a wonderful opportunity with new money coming in, especially opportunities as we're building out our career and career training opportunities. And so I don't know if anyone has any comments that they might want to add in regards to the special education funding that we'll be receiving from the state.
Any comments from the group of three before Superintendent Kane, any comments?
I don't directly have any comments except that I agree with all of that. It's something that we need to look at those opportunities. And I think Director Doan should be able to answer how the revenue has been accounted for in this budget.
Yes, so the revenue is accounted for through a combination of supplement and supplant. So this rules to not supplant our funding are related to federal funds, not state funds. And so we have used a portion of this to actually help with the amount that the general fund is subsidizing special education. We spend about $100 million a year on special education, and only about 25 to 30% of that on a given year is funded through either state or federal funds dedicated to special ed. So we are using a portion of this to close some of that gap. Our department budgets only include approximately $1.5 million of increased special education funding, but we can provide an update as to what that breakout looks like in our school positions as well when we come back in June, because the vast majority of our special education positions are actually budgeted within our schools.
Yeah, and a quick comment on that for those that aren't following the legislation, SB 22-127 takes the current per pupil funding for students with special needs from $1,250 to $1,750, so a pretty good percentage increase in those funds. And then the other nice thing is that it accounts for inflation starting in year 24-25, so it will continue to increase in the future. And thanks to all the members up on the Hill in the Education Committee that really worked hard on that bill and got it pushed through. So thank you. Director Wray?
Here's a quick follow-up to that, too. So the revenue side, we see 6.2 million is what that categorical fund is providing us. And so what I'm hearing from you, Ms. Doan, is that it's helping us close the gap because 37% is only provided through federal funding. Does that also show up then in our student weighted formulas for schools, or where else, other than that department figure you listed, where else will that show up?
Within our site-based budgets and their non-discretionary allocations. It wouldn't be in the per pupil funding that our schools get that's discretionary.
Gotcha.
Because all of our SPED positions are determined centrally by our special education department and allocated out to schools. So what I meant earlier when providing those quotes is the $6 million increase, taking it from about 15 million to 21 million, that's an additional state funding that will help reduce some of the gap as to what we're having to use funds that are set aside for gen ed to dedicate specifically to SPED. So it is not a direct translation to $6 million of new operations, new FTE, but we can provide more detail exactly outlining what new operations and FTE we are adding between the $1.5 million that's in departments and the amount that's out in schools, in school managed but department allocated special education teachers.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, Director Meek, did you have anything else? Okay, so now thank you to the group that presented, and we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is item number 5, superintendent reports and the potential bond MLO timeline and next steps. Over to Superintendent Kane.
Okay, thank you, President Peterson. Chief Communications Officer Stacy Rader is going to go through this presentation, and I will be able to help answer any questions. So I'll be available, and Ms. Rader, if you're ready, go ahead.
All right, I will. Thank you so much. I did want to throw in a quick plug for IT and communications. They had to rewire this entire audio visual, or actually the audio in this room about 45 minutes before the meeting. So thank you to them for jumping in. I am going to walk through MLO bond timeline and next steps, understanding, of course, that the MBEC will be providing their recommendations around feasibility on June 7th, and that the board will ultimately make the decision about go, no go. But I wanted to just walk through what's been done. This is definitely a huge priority for Superintendent Kane and myself. We've seen it tonight. We realize that an MLO is incredibly important if we're going to get to a point of having that competitive compensation for our teachers and staff. And as the county grows, we are seeing a need for more neighborhood, especially elementary schools in some of those fast-growing pockets, such as the Canyons in Castle Pines, Crystal Valley in Castle Rock, and Sterling Ranch. So a bond and mill are going to be very critical to be able to build new schools, something that we have not done since 2010. And this is just a quick look back at some of the preparation that's happened in this year. So you can take a look at that. A lot has been done. We have gone from back in January, where staff presented to all of you the initial funding needs and challenges presentation, and that was all of those needs and all of those potential uses for additional funding. And then, as you know, the board voted to form the Mill Bond Exploratory Ad Hoc Committee, which we lovingly call the MBEC. Back in February, staff presented the 2021-22 Master Capital Plan and those priority needs, which outlined the capital needs that I just spoke about in terms of needs for new schools, expansions to current middle schools to accommodate growth, as well as, of course, what we need to do to keep our buildings updated and not end up in deferred maintenance situations. And then we just kind of go through what the MBEC has done. The MBEC formed quickly. They have reported to the board. They got their bylaws adopted and began meeting every week, which they continue to do. In early April, we drafted and came to you for feedback that funding challenges and needs presentation slides. We took your feedback, we took feedback from our district leadership team as well as from the MBEC, and created that funding challenges presentation that you've seen that Superintendent Kane has been going out and presenting, along with our school leaders have also been out presenting that. Back in late April, we sent that basically a presentation kit, if you will, out to our district leadership team. That includes those slides, notes, everything that our school leaders and department leaders would need to present that information to their staff, PTOs, SACs, anybody else they want to present to, which they've been doing, and we're super appreciative of that. We also provided training, and by we, I mean Superintendent Kane, because I didn't, but she trained the school leaders and department leaders, and that is also recorded. That was done on the 26th of April. Then we got our same presentation kit out to our board directors, board committees, as well as the Foundation for Douglas County Schools Board, and also did a training, which you'll see jumping down there, to those board members and committees on May 3rd. That's also recorded and a link was sent out. On May 2nd, Superintendent Kane began presenting that those funding challenges information at a SAC meeting to the Highlands Ranch High School feeder. Those presentations will be continuing and really ramping up in June. We have quite a few scheduled, including some of those neighborhoods I mentioned. We'll be speaking to the Canyons, Sterling Ranch, Sierra Ridge, working to get into Crystal Valley, and then, of course, other organizations such as Chambers, and I know I'm forgetting one, Windcrest as well. So those continue to be added. I have shared the sign-up sheet with board directors as well as MBEC, so I'll try to remind you to take a look at that because I know it's not always top of mind, and I'll let you know as we add additional presentations. Right now, we are waiting for the results of the initial feasibility polling. So May 6th through the 13th, we had a feasibility poll out in the community. That is basically getting a feel for where our community is in terms of providing additional funding in the form of an MLO and a bond. And we are hoping to have those initial results ready to present to the MBEC tomorrow evening, and they will be taking that into consideration along with all of their other hard work, and then making their recommendations to the board on June 7th about whether or not they feel we should move forward or not move forward in November. So that leads us to next steps. These are some important deadlines that we just want to keep in mind. And this is based on 2018, just to give you an idea of what we did back then. So ideally, we would want to have by June 21st, a notice of intent to potentially participate in the 2022 general election. That is due to Douglas and Elbert County elections offices by July 29th in writing. Obviously, we would want board approval before submitting anything. That's potential. That's intent of potentially participating. That does not mean that you have to put something on the ballot at that point. But if we miss that July 29th deadline, we wouldn't be able to. August 9th, staff will come to the board with their recommendations regarding a potential bond and MLO. If you'll remember in 2018, this is where staff recommended potential scenarios in terms of actual dollar amounts. And then August 23rd would be the date that we would hope for a resolution regarding moving forward with the bond and MLO for that November 8th election. Back in 2018, October of 2018, the board did a resolution of support for the bond and MLO, and that was when we actually had a 5A and 5B. So that is something we would look for in October of 22, should we be moving forward. And then, of course, November 8th is the Colorado general election. Did I miss something? No, I thought I skipped one. There we go. And then in terms of staff next steps, we are in the process of hiring for a director of parent community and civic engagement. We had first interviews on Friday of last week. We had members of the community, MBEC, school leaders, which I thank them so much for finding time in the middle of the end of year craziness. Department leaders, staff, on a Friday afternoon after graduations, sat through interviews, which was amazing. So we are still working, Mrs. Kane and I, and just looking through that feedback from Friday and then determining the next steps in hopes of getting this position hired yesterday. And that person is really going to be facilitating our summer outreach work, making sure we're out in the public, making sure that these presentations continue to be scheduled, and that we have people out in the community, especially for some of those big summer events like the fair and other events around our county. And then the Board of Education and Executive Leadership will continue presentations to those major groups. That's what we're talking about, dividing and conquering and getting that presentation out where we can. Again, working with that new director to coordinate, engage volunteers and train ambassadors that can help spread the message, because obviously even if all 7 of you were out every single day of the week, you'd probably never get to every single person in the county. So the more we can train community members to just share the information with their friends, their neighbors, the better off that we will be, and the quicker we can get the message out about our needs. We will be releasing a video message to staff and community. We will be recording that hopefully on Thursday, depending on how Mrs. Kane is feeling. We're also looking to host at least 3 virtual town hall events in late June, where again, we can get that information out and take questions. Communications department is helping to facilitate a Board of Education editorial to go out soon, and maybe more, hint, hint. And then, of course, we'll do our media outreach as we get closer to help find additional ways to educate the community about needs. And with that, do we have any questions? Or Superintendent Kane, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Rader and the communications department, because they have done a lot of work in a very short amount of time in order for us to be in a position of deploying communication, presentations, website, et cetera. So thank you so much for all of that hard work. I also want to thank our Board of Education members for being willing to go out and present with me. Unfortunately, being sick is going to delay 1 or 2 of those presentations. But of course, Ms. Rader's already all over it, and we are getting those rescheduled as soon as possible. So that will be, I do want to add that will just continue to be our big focus over the summer. will be to talk to our community as much as we can about how we're funded and what challenges we're facing. That information for our community is really, really critical. So we will continue to do that all summer, and I'm really grateful to all the volunteers that are willing to help us with that effort.
And I did forget one point, and then I'll stop talking. We do have a one-pager that is in draft phase. It's looking beautiful. I want to thank our graphic designer for working on that. And then also, we need to get that funding page up on the website, and my goal is to have that up by June 3rd at the latest.
Okay, Director, questions, comments? Director Hanson.
I actually have three. First question is around cost of this going on the ballot, and there may be none, but I know in Board of Education elections, there's a several $100,000 cost that we pay, and I'm just curious if we know the cost for putting this on the ballot.
Defer to somebody else other than me. Superintendent Kane, do you know? If not, I can bring up finance.
I can't remember the exact cost, but it is in our current budget for the Board of Education. Ms. Stone may be able to add more colors to that, but it is in our current budget.
We're getting a mic to Ms. Stone.
Sorry, I was pulling it up right now, but yes, we did build that in as was discussed. And so our budget, it is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to put something on the ballot, regardless of what type of election it is. And so, apologize, got the mic a little too early. I am opening the file right now.
I have the board budget pulled up, and it's 282,000-ish. If that's comparable, I just needed to know if it was a significant expense, and it sounds like it is.
It is. That's exclusively what we are budgeting for. If that is next year's budget that you're referring to, then that line item, or you say
That's this year's budget,
that was this year's.
but it is $1 per voter, and there's over several hundred thousand voters.
Yeah, so Sandy says it's $1 per voter.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Second question is, I'm just curious, how many of the buildings were able to take advantage of the presentation that was shared and host their own individual funding presentation at their schools?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. So we did this a little bit differently this time, and where we have a QR code at the end of the presentation slides for feedback. That's my main mechanism to see who has presented, and I'm finding it's a little bit challenging to determine how many presentations each school has given. But from what I can tell, around 20 buildings have done it to date. I am actually going to plug all of the schools and dates that I know of into a spreadsheet, and then ask our school leaders if they can just fill in to make sure I'm not missing any. So at least 20 at this point.
Great. I would love to see that. If it's something that could be easily shared, I would sure appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Then last question, on the feasibility poll, I'm just curious about more details about the process. Is this a professional polling company? Is this something that the district put together? And maybe that's more appropriate for the next meeting, but I would really appreciate more details.
Sure, absolutely. So this is a professional polling project, so it's being done by an outside strategic polling firm. And I don't have it all right in front of me, but basically they reach out to 400 likely voters. That is a nice range of political affiliations, residents in different areas of the county, to get a feel for where they're at. Are they likely to vote? How are they feeling about different potential amounts? It's the same, almost verbatim, the same poll that we've done back in 2016, 2018, same polling firm. So, and once she is complete, she'll provide us with presentation slides that will have more details to provide to you.
And then that will come to us?
I believe so, yeah, we'll make sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Other director comments, questions? Director Ray?
Just to piggyback on Director Hanson's question about polling, will we be able to see the actual questions that were asked, or if we could get that. It's just helpful for us to know what the community is being asked in that polling. So I don't know if we could get that. That'd be
Yeah, and the
great.
MBEC is aware, they have it, but I'm happy to share that with you as well.
Super. And then, Ms. Rader, what's the turnout been for some of our community meetings so far? Are you finding it's a good turnout? What are you finding so far?
Well, so far, we haven't done a ton, just because most of them, like I said, are in June, and we were supposed to be out at Windcrest tomorrow, which got pushed back to June. But when we were out at the Highlands Ranch feeder sack, there was probably close to 100 people, which was really great. And it really is depending on the audience, so fingers crossed that we'll have good turnout. I know the neighborhoods have been very supportive. The Canyons is promoting the June 6th presentation to their community members. Windcrest is promoting to their community members. So I feel like most of the folks we've reached out to have been very open and willing to spread the word.
Great, thanks.
And if I could add on, I'd like to add on that we also are working through, now that we've been through a pandemic, more creative ways of being able to reach more people through Zoom meetings, et cetera. There'll be a video released very soon, but really we'll be able to do some live Zoom meetings either for specific audiences or just generally so that we can get to more of our community in addition to all of the in-person outreach.
Great. Director Williams?
And I can also say that some of the meetings that have been done at SACS. So just whoever's been at the SACS, I know that Julie Gooden and I think Krista Gilstrap have presented to their SACS, and I think Director Weiniger presented at hers. So I know that that's kind of a way that we're starting a little bit smaller. And also I can say that members of MBEC have had meetings with like their friends, neighborhood, just to start trying to get the word out until we could get something bigger going, so.
Other director comments, questions? Director Meek, go ahead. Director
I'm
Meek,
wondering-
oh, there you go. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, okay, thank you. So this question is for the board. I'm wondering if there are any concerns with, I was thinking about just holding open Zoom meetings for anyone to join and have conversations with the community. Are there any concerns with me holding those open discussions?
I'll let other individual board members comment, but I don't think so. If we're going to hold a public meeting, I kind of don't care who comes from the public. There shouldn't be any different messaging. Obviously, if we're addressing specific communities, I think June 16th, we have a Sterling Ranch engagement period, and there may be more focused community-specific questions, but I have no problem. Any other board members want to comment on that? Okay, I don't know if you can see, Director Meek, generally there doesn't seem to be a concern with the other board members. And I think okay, you're unmuted again, go ahead.
Yeah, and if any other board member wants to join me in a Zoom conversation with the community, please let me know. Just reach out.
Okay, thank you, Director Meek. And one last comment for, it's on consent agenda tonight, agenda item number 17, which is just simply our planned schedule of board meetings starting in the next year. And we are actually planning on adding a July meeting this year. And the reason, if you would just quickly bring up, I think slide 3, Ms. Rader, it's to just get in front of that, thank you, that top bullet, just to get in front of that deadline for July 29th and make sure the board has as much time as possible to consider all the input and then take a vote in that meeting. Should be a fairly narrow meeting, but make sure that we meet as a board and take a vote prior to the July 29th deadline. So if people were wondering why is there a July meeting this year, it's specifically for that date.
That's a good question about that.
Go ahead, Director Ray.
So is there, I know this decision is only to say that we intend. Is there a reason we can't do that vote earlier? Is there a reason we're waiting until July?
We could certainly do it earlier, and maybe that's something we'll discuss. We have agenda planning. I know it's for the next meeting, but okay, I will turn it over to Director Williams, who apparently has a good MBEC insight on that question. So, Director Williams.
So as soon as we vote on it, it restricts staff from being able to get out and and do some public speaking on it, is my understanding.
Well,
I'm not.
Once we vote to say, yes, it's going on the ballot, was my understanding.
Right, but this is potential, so I don't think that happens until that August 23rd resolution.
right.
Yeah, then I
Yeah,
don't know.
so bottom line, I think what we'll do is we'll get some more clarification. We've got agenda planning coming up prior to that, but if there's a interest by the board to move that date up. The only other thing I could possibly think of is things kind of go dark in the summer, and maybe having a short meeting would keep this bond MLO initiative in the eyes of the public. But certainly we'll entertain any input from board members on where they'd like to see that, since it's only a potential.
Yeah, that's my
President Peterson?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just going to concur with what Director Williams said. Once the board votes to put it on the ballot, basically the Fair Campaign Practice Act kicks in, and it severely restricts statements that can be made and different things. So typically, I think boards wait until August to actually vote to put it on the ballot.
Yeah,
And if I could jump in as well, President
yeah,
Peterson?
go ahead, Superintendent Kane, because I do see that
Yeah, and
other
I'm sorry,
August date on
I'm
there.
having a hard
that-
time hearing questions in detail, but if I understood it, this is also consistent with what was done in 2018, Director Ray. So the first August meeting in 2018 was the official staff recommendation, and then the last August meeting in 2018 was the official board vote. And as Director Meek said, that is when fair campaign practices kicks in, and we are much restricted.
Go ahead, Director
So,
Ray.
so I think we're talking about two different things. The July 20, or by the July 29th, that's just an action to earmark, to notify the county clerk that, hey, we are intending, or we may be putting something on the ballot. The August 23rd date is the one that we actually say it's formally on the ballot, and that's where the restrictions start happening. So I guess that's where I'd like us just to get clarification, as opposed to having another special meeting in July. I think it'd be sure sweet for us just to knock that out and say, yeah, let's just get it earmarked, get that done, and then, and you're right, on August 23rd, like Director Williams said, then things get different in terms of how we can communicate about the bond.
You are correct. The notification to potentially participate contains the word potentially on purpose.
Okay, and that may flow into item number 17, because we can always approve that meeting, I think, and then decide to cancel it if we move the agenda items up earlier. So any other questions or comments from directors? Director Weininger.
Just a quick comment that we also, it's not included on this timeline, but I spoke with Superintendent Kane to confirm that we also will get recommendations from FOC and any other necessary board committees before we vote.
Okay, thank you. Any final comments, questions from directors? Okay, thank you, Ms. Rader, and thank you, Superintendent Kane. And without objection, if we would like to take a, we'll call it 13-minute adjournment, and we will start public comment on the top of the hour. Okay, seeing no objection, we will go to recess until the top of the hour. Come back into session. And if the audience would please sit down. We are moving to item number 6, which is public comment. Purpose of public comment is to balance ability to hear diverse viewpoints from a broad spectrum of citizens throughout the district while allowing the Board of Education to conduct business in an orderly and efficient manner. Time has been adjusted to allow all speakers the opportunity to speak during the allotted time for public comment. Due to the number of folks tonight, we will have 3 minutes each for public comment. When speaking, please remain respectful and address the board rather than the guests and staff in the room. Relative to some items or some issues we've had in the last couple meetings, obviously, if a person is up there speaking, please be quiet, please don't block the view, and please don't interrupt them. Also, I'll ask tonight when speakers are coming to and from, audience members, please do not gauge the other speakers and get involved in verbal battles in between. So we would appreciate your help with that. You will have a 15-second notice verbally from Mr. Blair. He will do his best tonight due to the audio and IT limits to give you notice prior to the end of your time so you can wrap up your comments. Again, if the audience wants to react between speakers, feel free to do so while being respectful and honoring the next speaker's time to speak. And attendees who create a disturbance or disrupt speakers will be asked to leave after a warning. With that, we will start with our first group of speakers. We have Jennifer Iverson, Iko Browning, followed by Jason Kisei. Ms. Iverson.
Thank you, Board, for hearing me this evening. As we conclude the school year, I'd like to thank the many educators and staff who pushed through some very difficult times. I saw that the new Executive Director of Special Education position has not been filled yet. Would you consider reaching out to a national recruiter to intensify and widen the search? In past years, there has been a presentation by the Special Education Department citing how things are going and what the new goals are for the future. I understand that it's difficult without a leader, but some kind of evaluation will help the incoming staff to know what comes next. We can't address needs without naming them. I was able to attend an informational session exploring the possibilities of putting a bond and mill levy on the ballot in November. The school district has my support. My worry is how many in our community are distrustful of broken promises and misleading information. Our district is embarrassingly underfunded. I believe a bond and mill levy is the only way to retain teachers and protect public education. Lastly, I'm hopeful that whether the district approves of another STEM charter or not, that the optimal space in Sterling Ranch will be reserved for their neighborhood school, where all students are welcome and seen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Iverson. Next will be Iko Browning, Jason Kisei, followed by Lisa Kisei, comments read by Jason Kisei. Ms. Browning.
Hello, President Peterson, directors, and Superintendent Kane. Public policy is public business, yet the rookie 4 directors insist on refusing to comply with Judge Holmes' preliminary injunction ordering to stop daisy chain decision-making outside of the public eye until the Sunshine Law lawsuit has been settled. The rookie 4 board directors campaigned using the slogan of accountability, transparency, and integrity. Is fighting to protect the right to daisy chain decision-making inaccessible to the public regarding public school district business in support of accountability and transparency? Or is it the direct opposite? Is attempting to circumvent the purpose of open meeting law, which is to ensure that public business is conducted in public forums, supporting accountability and transparency, or the direct opposite? Is saying you value accountability and transparency while using taxpayer dollars to evade accountability and transparency an example of integrity? Your actions show a lack of integrity and disregard for transparency and accountability. Your use of these values of campaign slogans, followed by your actions which are in direct opposition to your stated values of transparency, accountability, and integrity, cheapens the use of those words. Through your actions, you make yourselves liars. The rookie 4 board directors also campaigned with a slogan of keeping politics out of the classroom. Yet these same individuals just endorsed a political candidate, and 2 of them used their Douglas County School District headshot photographs as part of the endorsement. That is improper use of Douglas County School District resources, and it is the opposite of keeping politics out of the classroom. What you really mean is keep certain political views outside the classroom, but inject your politics. That's not keeping politics out of the classroom. Through your actions, you make yourselves liars. In addition, I believe your calls for getting back to reading, writing, and arithmetic and avoiding, quote, the revision of history is a dog whistle call for whitewashing, ignoring of systemic injustice, both in the past as well as in the present. There are so many systemic inequities in our societies, including home ownership, home equity, educational opportunity, health outcomes, healthcare coverage, life expectancy, intergenerational wealth, incarceration. Just following the golden rule and avoiding interpersonal bigotry does not remedy these systemic injustices. A child's life expectancy and educational opportunity and life opportunities should not depend on the zip code in which she lives or the color of her skin. Ignoring and denying the existence of systemic injustice
15
perpetuates
seconds remaining.
systemic injustice. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Browning. Next will be Jason Kassay, Lisa Kassay, read by Jason Kassay, then Allison Kalinsky. Mr. Kassay.
Good evening, directors and Superintendent Kane. My family and I are residents of Sterling Ranch, and I want to ask you tonight to have a public school built first in our community before any charters. It is imperative that an MLO bond ends up on the ballot this year to help teachers' salaries and provide funding for the new public schools our county needs. It has been said that a society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they shall never sit. Next month, this board is voting on whether or not to approve STEM's replication. As far as I am aware, only 2 board members have visited Sterling Ranch and spoke with a few of us. How can a decision be made that will affect the education of kids in our neighborhood over the next few decades be made without every board member visiting Sterling Ranch and speaking with as many residents as possible? I know that upcoming in June 16th, we have a meeting at Sterling Ranch, so we're looking forward to that. But also, there's been no survey sent out to each of our residents. There's about 1,200 homes to try to find out how they feel about the schools here. We have many residents in Sterling Ranch that aren't even aware that a school is needed or what type will be built. Thanks to social media, a lot of misinformation has been spread around. The residents of Sterling Ranch need to hear the facts from the source, and that is this board and the other committees such as the LRPC and MBEC. The only contact that residents have had was from a meeting put on by STEM last year. At the meeting, Dr. Euchre and staff had trouble answering the hard questions, misled the residents, and backtracked on several things. This was very similar to how Dr. Euchre conducted herself at the April 26 board meeting here. Director Williams asked, "Have you been promised land by Sterling Ranch?" To which Dr. Euchre replied emphatically yes, but then quickly backtracked saying, "Well, not promised." She then went on to provide incorrect information about the sites available in Sterling Ranch for schools. Between STEM misleading Sterling Ranch residents and trying to play the same game with this board, how does any of that come across as wanting to do what is best for the kids in this community? We first need a school that is accessible to every child zoned for our area and can provide the different resources they need. Sterling Ranch is lauded as a high-tech community, but that does not mean that every student here wants to go to STEM or that it would be a good fit for them. My wife and I are both software engineers, but you cannot infer from our technical backgrounds that our children should follow in our footsteps. There is no need for a second STEM campus when the existing one is only a 10-minute drive and is the same distance as all the other schools zoned for Sterling Ranch. In fact, only 8% of K through 6 students in Sterling Ranch attend STEM currently. Since the best chance for a public school to be built in Sterling Ranch is through an MLO bond, we need to do everything we can to make sure that it succeeds. If STEM gets built first, it will make it very difficult for Douglas County residents to understand the need to approve the MLO bond. Most people will only see that there is a school in Sterling Ranch. Why do we need another one? They will not research and see that STEM is a specialized school with a lottery system that will not be accessible to all Sterling Ranch students and only offer K through 3rd grade to start. This board's decision is determining what trees will be providing shade for future generations of Sterling Ranch. Let's get a public school in Sterling Ranch first, and then any number of charters, including STEM, can complement our neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kassay. Do you have additional comments for Ms. Kassay?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next will be Allison Kalinsky, followed by Robert Marshall, followed by Holly Horn. Ms. Kalinsky.
magical things. I wanted to use my public comment tonight to send a heartfelt thank you to all the dedicated staff who go above and beyond every year. I understand that these last few years have been even more difficult than usual, and I appreciate your willingness to stand firmly in your conviction to teach and help our students. Doing so with the wage disparity has been even harder, and I'm thrilled that this board and Superintendent Kane have made a commitment to you to cut through the political noise and push for a bond and MLO. The achievements of this school board over the last 6 months have been tremendous, even in the face of the continued litigious nuisances filed not for the benefit of our students, but for the procurement of name recognition for Mr. Marshall's political campaign. I'm thankful that this board continues to fight the false narrative of this political stunt. This district deserves the clarification, or better yet, the flat appeal of Judge Holmes' judicial activist injunction that is completely unfettered from any actual Colorado statutes. It is high time we move on from the manufactured chaos and false narratives brought by a man attempting to be elected to office and promoted by a handful of political activists that support his campaign. Thank you, board, for pushing for this bond and MLO, and thank you, teachers, for being who you are.
Thank you, Ms. Kalinsky. Robert Marshall, Holly Horn, then Matthew Smith. Mr. Marshall.
I think I need to address one little comment real quick, because you sent out an email to everyone saying that they shouldn't be attacking other people in the audience. But once again, Mr. Peterson, you seem to have selective integrity and selective morals. I don't know how many special meetings this is now, but you've broken your record once again. And in 6 months, you've already had more special meetings, from my understanding, than any Board of Education in Douglas County history. And now we're 6 months away from an MLO that you want to get. Yet you campaigned on accountability, transparency, and integrity. How are you possibly going to get an MLO passed when you haven't shown any of that in the past 6 months? None of it. Right now we have a Cora request, and you went out and hired another law firm to respond to it. Another law firm spending money that should have been done by in-house counsel. Of course, they rolled over on most of the items, but you still are trying to bury things that are there. We've asked, why did Mr. Trockman leave? Why did he have to withdraw? First, you refused to acknowledge that he actually did withdraw. When that actually became a true and known, then it was privileged and we couldn't have it. Well, now it's been turned over, but they try and redact everything except for the fact that he said he's withdrawing. On 6 March, you received the email I sent pointing out that Mr. Trockman had been up at that secret Estes Park meeting giving you all training and advice. And yet, we had no record of him ever disclosing that to the board when he became the board's attorney. A very serious ethical violation if it occurred. The Cora now shows that that same night, I sent it on a Sunday afternoon, Mr. Ray on Sunday evening sent something, you redacted it all, to Mr. Trockman, and then on the next day, immediately, Mr. Trockman resigned. Of course, you redacted that whole item. Why did he resign? You still won't tell us. I'm glad you gave us Ms. Williams' notes, but you say you want to keep politics out of the boardroom? She was looking at hiring Gessler or Maven? Really? The two most political, soiled firms out there. And then she destroys the voicemail, a public record. I mean, that's something we should go to court and get an injunction. 6 months in, you're still destroying public records? That's incredible. And finally, why don't you turn over the binders? You all admitted you got your training on the sunshine laws and Robert's Rules of Evidence, or excuse me, Robert's Rules of Order.
15 seconds remaining.
Why shouldn't we be able to see why you're unable to follow simple procedures? And finally, do consider the settlement that your attorney asked us to bring you. It should have been on the agenda, exactly what we were telling you all to do. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. We now have Holly Horn, Matthew Smith, and then Matthew Solak. Ms. Horn.
Hi, my name's Holly Horn. Let's take a break from the lawsuit talk. I'm here tonight with a message of gratitude. The last 2 years have been what I understand to be the most challenging ever for our teachers and support staff. They've risen to the occasion time after time in impossible and unprecedented circumstances. Our teachers are underpaid and deserve more. I hope all stakeholders will unite in supporting the MLO to be sure we can keep our wonderful teachers here in DCSD. We need them. Our kids need them. Thank you, teachers, for staying the course and for all of your hard work. I believe we cannot say that enough. While I am so grateful for the positive changes made and promises kept by the Kids First majority board members, I want to offer a huge thank you to all of our board members. You have shown up week after week, month after month for committee and board meetings in an altogether thankless position. You keep coming back despite a very tumultuous climate, to say the least, and I know that can only be because you love this school district. For that, I just want to say thank you for all you do. Hang in there. I believe with everything in me, things will eventually get a whole lot better. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Horn. Matthew Smith, Matthew Solak, followed by Andy Jones. Mr. Smith.
Just got to get my speech from my bender real quick. Good evening. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Rookie 4 board members. You've done a great job over the year sticking to your promises. I'd like to highlight a few of those points. Removing masking from schools and enabling in-person learning. Introducing parental choice into the district and putting all students first. Replacing the ineffective superintendent with a rock star. Next, I would like to continue on this vein of gratitude, and I would like to give a big shout out to most teachers. Thank you for leading our children through a very challenging year. Your dedication to getting the job done has not gone unnoticed. Those who chose to put politics over our children, I challenge you to do better next year. Moving forward, I'd like to point out a few things. I would like to see a pay increase for teachers and staff that have excelled throughout the year. I would like to make a special call out to the security staff within the district, especially after the events that happened today, the unfortunate tragic events. They are crucial to ensuring the safety of our children and staff, and they must be taken care of. Furthermore, the security staff that I've interacted with at these meetings, at the front desk and in the room right now, are top-notch and must be taken care of. They have always been polite, professional, and a pleasure to be around. I would like to thank everyone. I'm so used to 90 seconds, I wasn't prepared for the 3 minutes tonight. So I'm probably going to cut it off a little early, and then Brandy wanted me to deliver a quick message that it's an early Christmas present that she wasn't speaking tonight. So.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Matthew Solak, Andy Jones, and Kelly Johnson. Mr. Solak.
My name is Matthew Solak. I'm a teacher at Legend High School, a parent of a DCSD student, and a proud member of the union. It is with great grief for Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas, that I read this comment. Based on the comments made by a director at the Lincoln Club of Colorado luncheon on March 23rd, there seems to be a gross misunderstanding of what the union is and how it works. The Douglas County Federation has been in Douglas County for 50 years, hardly an outside interest group, but an important part of our community for half a century. The DCF is a group of teachers and staff united in support of improving our students' learning conditions. I will refer to teachers and staff as educators because our school staff help educate our students every day. This united group of educators wants to work towards improving education conditions because students thrive when their educators are supported. Union members are not the monsters the majority directors like to think. Union members are kindergarten teachers, security guards, middle school PE teachers, school secretaries, high school English teachers, and custodians. They dedicate their lives to educating our students. Union leadership can't do anything without the support of the members. So what does the union want? Ideally, we would like to have a collective bargaining agreement like educators have in every other metro area school district. The collective bargaining agreements in neighboring districts attract amazing educators because they guarantee stability in teaching conditions. What is a CBA? It is a contract between the district and the union which stipulates the responsibilities of educators and the responsibilities of the district towards educators. The CBA is by no means a one-way street where the union only gets what it wants, but it goes both ways. The district can stipulate exactly what it wants from educators. A CBA is a contract, so educators can rest assured that the conditions will not change unexpectedly and unilaterally. This makes our students' learning environments stable and secure for educators to educate and students to thrive. Interesting fact, back in the heyday of DCSD, when we had schools accredited with distinction and we were a destination school district for young families and the best teachers, back in those days, we not only had a CBA, but the union and the district were literally a textbook example of how good relations between unions and central administration can help produce excellent results in education. You pledged that you want to return to those days when Douglas County was a destination school district. It would do you well to look back at what the conditions of the district were during that time. You would see the impact of the union and how cooperation with the union improves student learning and success. So that is the union, a group of dedicated professionals who are in front of students, who are fighting for the best conditions for those
15 seconds
students.
remaining.
We've been a part of this community for 50 years, and we're an integral part of making Douglas County a destination school district. Attacking the union and union members is counterproductive to the board's goal of restoring this district to what it once was. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great summer.
Thank you, Mr. Solak. Andy Jones, Kelly Johnson, followed by Luke Johnson. Mr. Jones.
Good evening, directors, Superintendent Kane, wherever you are, staff, and community. My name is Andy Jones, and tonight I have the privilege and permission to speak as a board member with the Highlands Ranch Metro District. My comments are my own and not that of the other directors. On tonight's agenda, you are approving the transfer of the 10-acre parcel adjacent to Tepfer Park in Highlands Ranch to the county and subsequently transfer the parcel to the Highlands Ranch Metro District. Tepfer Park is a popular neighborhood park where my children and so many others over the decades have enjoyed swings and slides in a baseball field, soccer, basketball, and a connection to our amazing Dad Clark open space and trails that so many of our residents use daily. For nearly a year, we have been eagerly awaiting the opportunity to accept the property and begin to master plan this site. To complete this master plan for the expanded Tepfer Park, we would work closely with neighbors in the community to gather their input on what amenities they would like to see, as well as refurbishment of the existing park. The Metro District has funds identified in the budget in planning and developing the site with no expected additional cost to the citizens. Board directors, Superintendent Kane, and staff, we, the nearly 100,000 citizens of Highlands Ranch, are so grateful for the collaborative work that you have done with the county, and I look forward to sharing the progress of this effort with you over the next few years. Thank you for the great job that all of you are doing.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Kelly Johnson, Luke Johnson, then Erica Devlin. Ms. Johnson. Okay, Luke Johnson. Okay, Erica Devlin, followed by Kelly Mayer, and then Tara Cole. Is Ms. Devlin here?
Hello. I appreciate the opportunity to share my comments this evening. I want to thank the board for working so hard for our students, teachers, staff, and community in the Douglas County School District. With your dedication, we are on our way to being a top-ranked school district again. You recognize that our students were losing so much by the school shutdowns and mandates, and you pushed for keeping our schools open for in-person learning and opted out of Tri-County Health, which gave families the choice and freedom to not wear masks. Thank you for your continuous focus on achieving academic excellence and standards instead of pushing the CRT agenda in our schools. I supported the removal of Corey Wise and the hiring of Erin Kane. I truly believe she is the right superintendent to restore our district to the desirable, sought-after district we once were. I'm in favor of the proposed MLO bond initiative that we desperately need. Erin stands behind this initiative, and she will help us reach the goal. Thank you, Douglas County School District teachers and all support staff for all you do and everything you have sacrificed for our students. Your commitment to our children was unwavering, and I support all of you. Douglas County School District students, you are troopers. You have persevered and survived this horrific pandemic. My spirits are rising, seeing the pure joy on your faces when you are hanging out with your friends, attending fun events, playing sports again, dressing up for prom, going on trips, and participating in full graduation ceremonies. You give me hope for the future of our great nation. Congratulations, class of 2022. God bless you all, and let's keep our #1 priority on the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Devlin. Kelly Mayer, Tara Cole, followed by Tiffany Wilson. Ms. Mayer.
Good evening, Board Directors and Superintendent Kane. My name is Kelly Mayer. I'm a parent of 9 DCSD former and current students and a longtime resident. I would like to start by thanking all the teachers and staff for your incredibly hard work this year. Tonight, I want to talk about school funding. As a parent and former teacher, I will always support public school funding initiatives. Our students, teachers, and schools desperately need this funding. However, passing bonds and MLOs requires community trust. Unfortunately, community trust is severely lacking. Something I saw this week definitely didn't help: a political mailer that had 4 of the majority board members on it. How does that fulfill your campaign promise of getting politics out of the school board? How does this bring the community together? All this does is undermine the effort to pass school funding. I want to know how you're going to restore trust with the community and move forward with a successful MLO and bond. I believe all students deserve an excellent, inclusive, and equitable education. Without funding, they will not get one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mayer. Tara Cole, Tiffany Wilson, followed by Aaron Wood. Ms. Cole.
Hi, my name's Tara Cole. This is the first time I've spoken up here, so bear with me. Tonight I'm here to thank you all for keeping your promises. You were leaders in making choices to keep our kids in class and remove their masks so they could learn more effectively. You addressed parental concerns in the equity policy head-on while still keeping it in place to use the positive parts effectively. You quickly filled the superintendent position with a woman that I have seen with my own eyes has a very serious drive to increase teacher pay. She literally brings it up every time I talk to her. She loves this district so much and the teachers that have worked tirelessly through the last couple of very difficult years. This type of leadership without fear takes boldness. As soon as you made these changes that you were elected to do, the backlash was swift and it was massive because it was a coordinated attack. I am so thankful now that I have educated myself on the reality of this situation, so I didn't have to go on the media stories that we were being fed from outlets that had an agenda. I watched with my own eyes as the non-existent union organized sickouts for teachers, student walkouts, when our kids could not afford to miss one more day of school. The onslaught of lawsuits towards you for conducting business in the exact same manner that it's always been done was also coordinated. They have brought the same group of people, sometimes media personalities mixed in as plaintiffs, but the same lawyer and the same sentiment echoed by the same crowd. They write online, "Keep going with the chaos. The end justifies the means." The end, I believe, is control of the district. Outside chaos and interference in the school board business of Douglas County only serves to dissuade normal parents and people and grandparents from serving on the school board. Who would want to put themselves up to go through that kind of thing? I'm so thankful for the newly launched Doug Protective and the work they're doing to unite the community in support of teachers and students so we can all continue to focus on academics as our end goal. Thank you so much to each of you that serve on this board. We appreciate you. Please stay strong through all of this. A special thank you to Kaylee Weiniger, who has a brand new baby at home. You are a hero mama to so many of us. I don't know how you do it and look so amazing after having a baby. but you are an inspiration. Thank you all to a job well done this year.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. Tiffany Wilson, Aaron Wood, followed by Gary Colley. Ms. Wilson.
Good evening, Board of Directors and Superintendent Kane. I want to first say we made it. We finished off this year with proms, graduations, field days, and celebrations in between. We finished this year just like any other school year, with smiling faces we can see, with activities that we, the parents, could attend. We finished the year in classrooms, teachers with their students, and our students with their friends. From the bottom of my heart, thank you to each and every one of you. We know that this has not come easy, nor has it come without a fight, but we made it. To the board who fought for our parental rights and the rights of our students and teachers to have a normal school year, thank you. To the board who can have a difference of opinions but still come together in the end, that shows community, and thank you. To all of the teachers who stood by your kids and helped them finish this year strong, thank you. Thank you for caring for our children when we are away. Thank you for giving them an extra push and shaping their confidence. It most certainly takes special people to do what you do. To all the schools and leaders who stood by the students and the parents and put their academics and well-beings first, thank you. To the leaders who listened, canceled, and guided kids and the parents through all of this, thank you. To all the admin who welcomed us day in and day out with smiles, thank you. To those who gave us our kids ice packs, Band-Aids, and love when they got hurt, thank you. To those making the daily phone calls to the parents with illnesses and bumps and bruises, we see you and thank you. As a mom, I can say that without a doubt, my children's school made us feel like family. Each and every member of that school cares for each of our kids equally. They've listened to my fears and my frustrations. They've heard and seen my pain and tears, and each and every one of them have come to us with true compassion and love. We felt and we've been heard. They have also seen my heartfelt joy and happiness as I'm able to attend, volunteer, and celebrate in-class activities and festivities, attend kindergarten roundups, cheer on our son during field day, and attend graduations. There have been so many reasons to celebrate this year. Let us not forget that. To the class of 2022, congratulations, you did it. You spent more than half of your high school career learning how to adjust and conquer to a new way of doing the day-to-day life. It was hard, it sucked, and it wasn't fair, but you did it. You showed not just us your resilience, but yourselves, your resilience and strength. You all should be proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Aaron Wood, Gary Colley, followed by Scott Jacobson. Aaron Wood.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, Superintendents. My name is Aaron Wood. My family and I, we moved to Highlands Ranch in 2017. My kids started school at Bear Canyon Elementary. Fast forward to 2020 and 2021, at the point at which we had enough. We decided we had enough, and we began to homeschool our kids because we felt that was the best option for them and for their education. Why? We aren't teachers. Homeschooling two kids a grade apart did not look easy. This takes resources that we didn't think we had, but by God's grace and guidance provided us the means to accept this responsibility and put our kids first. We don't place government mandates ahead of our kids. We don't place woke policies ahead of our kids. And we certainly don't place critical race theory ahead of our kids, nor radical and confusing gender fluidity narratives ahead of the importance that are our kids. The erasure of our inclusive American history is not more important than developing our kids into the calling and purpose that God has on their lives. Why am I sharing this with you today? We homeschool our kids because we put them first. We do this to avoid the damage that a self-serving and special interest-driven school board and superintendent placed upon this district. We are here today in support of the leadership that, like us, boldly chose to put kids first because they're the main point. We support you, and we pray God's protection to strengthen you, and we rebuke the enemy and the fiery darts that he has placed against you. These fiery darts have come in the guise of nonprofit groups and media, especially the Colorado media and the News Collaborative, which is partnered owned by 9 News and the Colorado News Conservancy, which recently acquired 24 local media entities known as Colorado Community Media. And when we see a consistent narrative perpetrated in our community, it is media used as a tool to divide us and to distract us from the goal of putting the kids first in our communities. And I continue to support you, as does my family and other members of this community, and we pray for the protection of our duly elected Kids First leadership in Douglas County, and thank you for all that you've done and all that you will continue to do.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Gary Colley, Scott Jacobson, followed by Stacy Jacobson, comments read by Scott Jacobson. Mr. Colley.
Well, not to bring any attack on the school board. You know, I've been doing public comment before the school district since October of 2010. But I do more than that. I'm actively engaged in the community to see things improve within the community. And what I'm requesting tonight is that our school board, regardless of what we keep hearing from members of the community, that you start to pull together and demonstrate that you are pulling together. So here's my comment for tonight. You know, the summary for public comment requests noted on the agenda states that community input that could help the district meet the challenge of becoming the best school system possible is always welcome, as it should be. So a question I have here is, are all members of this board committed to becoming the best school system possible? Because you have to put a lot aside to focus on that. As it relates to the Board of Education goals, Director Ray, I quoted him, received a quote, I guess, that it's a huge undertaking, but one that is critical to ensure proper accountability and decision-making in regards to staff, students, and the community. That's Board of Education goals, but I'm getting to my challenge here. What goes on outside of the board meetings? Whether it's individual conversations that I've had with board members, or how are you handling yourself outside the community? Some of you are board liaisons, all of you are to some extent. You're a board liaison to a specific committee with a focus. Are you genuinely taking action steps to ensure that proactive steps are being taken to fulfill board policies, to enhance it, to strengthen your unity together? The prior board, because this was before this board is a brand new board. They don't carry the burden of the past. The prior board's focus to update and create policies was needed. However, a lack of commitment to ensure policies were properly implemented by your one employer, that has been very disappointing. It's almost like the board is managing a superintendent. It should be for the best interest of the community. One of the examples would be the concerns, the complaint process. I personally, through the CAC, with help from community members, have tried to get that policy moved forward. But the prior board would never really address it. You know, you can't address it and make people feel like you're interested and want to support them, but then when it comes to following through, you don't.
15 seconds remaining.
That's phony. So I can give you different examples of prior board and superintendent, but it's in the past. I'm asking you, regardless of what's going on with public comment, that you pulled together. And I
Thank you,
appreciate
Mr. Colley.
guys. Thanks.
Scott Jacobson, followed by Stacy Jacobson, read by Scott Jacobson, followed by May Sands. Mr. Jacobson.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Superintendent Kane.
My wife and I are 30-year Colorado and Douglas County residents, and we've been very active Douglas County parents, especially over these last 2.5 years. We campaigned tirelessly throughout the summer and fall of 2021. We believe in this new school board majority and your agenda to focus on kids first. So it is with a heavy heart that we are pulling our son out of the public school system and putting him in a private Christian school. Since everyone does not have the luxury to pay for their kids to go to school, we want to share our reasons for leaving the Douglas County School District in consideration of the other 64,000 children. First off, politics are influencing what's happening in the classroom, and I'm tired of the influence that it has on my child. I no longer feel teachers and parents are collaborating for the good of the children in Douglas County. It seems like it's us versus them, us being the teachers union and them being the parents/voters. My reasons for feeling this way include the teachers sick out in our political support of Corey Wise, collective bargaining, and equity. The frivolous lawsuits continually perpetuated on the duly elected Douglas County Commissioners, the Board of Health, and the new school board directors, tying up school resources and monies, focusing on ridiculous judgments from other states, not based on any Colorado law. The day all teachers and administrators wore black to show their disdain for the newly elected school board members. How does this help the children? At our school this year, the students who complied with the request to wear masks were celebrated and referred to as leaders. The inference, of course, those being who chose to exercise their constitutional choice, should be vilified. What happened to anti-bullying in that scenario? Our son's elementary school teacher put up plexiglass and informed students that the kids wearing masks could come out from behind the plexiglass, but students not wearing masks had to stay behind the plexiglass. This went on all year long in spite of the teacher being presumably triple boosted and, of course, double masked. I'm not quite sure how that's following the science there. My son was told by the district that my son was told by a teacher that the district does not have enough substitutes because, quote, no parents want to do it. Again, this does not all seem inclusive, and it appears to pit us against them. The board's #1 focus should be on reuniting the divide between the teachers and the parents, and the answer is not simply to placate every single desire of our teachers. We support and appreciate our teachers, administrators, and staff, but there needs to be a give and take. Our second reason for leaving is Common Core math, period. Common Core is awful. It's complicated, confusing, and makes our young son cry for 30 to 60 minutes every homework night. Our son is gifted, and thanks to Common Core curriculum, he now hates math. If the district has the authority to use Singapore or Sexton math, once again, please do so. Our family cannot tolerate the confusion and frustration our son experiences with Common Core math any longer. 2 + 2 = 4. It's as simple as that. He does not need a number line, a tens place graph, or word problems to understand that simple fact. It's just like the law of gravity, simple. Third, we do not like how much time our son spends staring at a screen. Our son comes home every day telling us about the exciting apps he used for grammar, reading, watching videos, and even classroom movies. We asked to observe what happened in the classroom, but we were told that was not possible because of COVID. This was 60 days ago that the school was still afraid of COVID, in spite of Omicron, which vindicated those of us who raised the alarm about the COVID authoritarianism. We asked how much screen time our son gets at school each day, and nobody would even give us an estimate. If our child is staring at an iPad for half the day, we see no reason to send him to school. Finally, the public school system has shifted away from our family's moral and values. The push to make all schools a safe space for 1% of the population is making it an unsafe space for the 70% of us that identify as Christian. There is no room for gender identity or sexuality discussions in early elementary school, period. We campaigned tirelessly throughout the summer, fall of 2021, and we believe in this new school board, sincerely. We're also excited about the new DougCo Protective that has just been established to protect conservative values in this patriotic, liberty-loving county. We plan to stay engaged in the district for the other 64,000 students who do not have the ability to make a change. We support your agenda, and we wish you all the best in your leadership initiatives to bring back the once-was Destination School District of Douglas County. If this school board had been in place back in March of 2020, we would not have to have made this difficult decision for our child. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Nay Sands, and then we will transition to our Zoom speakers, Chad Cox, followed by Ursula Keikos. Ms. Sands.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. Today, I truly want to thank all the teachers and all the staff, whatever you're doing, so keep improving what you're doing. We can't afford to be undereducated when other children in other countries are learning divisions in first grade. I hope this is taken into account. But also, I am here to support the MLO. And I want to thank also every member of the board for your dedicated work. All of you, you are starting to show working together, and that's very important. Me coming from a third world country, I am tired of high conflict. We need to teach our children, we need to have leadership that teaches very, very low conflict. I want to thank also Erin Kane and Danny Windsor. Thank you so much for how they start the leadership of our schools in our community. I have an invitation to all of us, in which is let's all embrace inclusivity with workability. With workability skills, our children need it. It's important that we stop the high conflict. We need our children to be leaders in life. We don't need them to be high conflict, and I hope everybody hear me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sands. Online, we will go to Chad Cox, Ursula Keikos, followed by Tiffany Baker. Mr. Blair, is Mr. Cox online?
He is, sir.
Full potential cannot be achieved by merely focusing on equality in education. Equity is all-encompassing of an individual's sense of self. It is how they see and express themselves educationally and socially. Children cannot reach full potential by pretending they have had the same experiences. Children have to see themselves represented successfully in their school and in the community. Children must have an outlet to share their experiences and celebrate their diversity. Otherwise, we are merely telling them they can only be as successful as we allow them to be. Do not listen to a loud few that say equity is racist, stereotyping, or intends to lower standards. This is disinformation aimed at spreading hate and fear. It does not stereotype any person or group of people into a certain category. It does not call for the lowering of standards in order to meet equal outcomes. Racism would be taking equity away from those that want their diversity celebrated and that want to be represented within their community. Racism can be seen in the actions taken by many in the fair community, stating that they hide books they feel should be banned in trash cans of the county libraries, or turning book covers backwards, or taking them off the shelves and hiding them throughout stores, just because the main focus of the books are perspectives of persons of color. Stereotyping would be labeling a group of people stupid, ridiculous, or woke because they announce their pronouns when speaking. Another action proudly posted by the inclusive fair community. How's that golden rule working out for y'all? I won't lower the standards for my kids. It diminishes all the hard work my son puts forth to overcome his dyslexia. It diminishes the extra steps my nonverbal son puts forth just to construct a sentence on his alternative communication device. Lowering of standards leads to less favorable products or outcomes. Lowering standards is voting to remove a certification that a superintendent should hold, or removing several job qualifications just so a less qualified candidate can apply and obtain a lead position within the district. We've all seen the downside of stereotyping, lowering of standards, and racisms. This leads to fear and further hate of marginalized groups. Surely we all see what happens when you spread hate and fear towards a marginalized group. Removing the equity policy in committee would be a modern day way of redlining our district.
15 seconds remaining.
I am calling on the board members to cancel your scheduled retreat until all board members can follow your own rules and show that you can present yourself in a way that is encompassing of the entire community and not just your few supporters. Trust cannot be held by community when certain board members use their title and position
Time is
within
up.
the board to attend.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. Ursula Caicos, Tiffany Baker, followed by Jennifer Barney. Ms. Caicos.
Thank you for giving us an opportunity to contribute to the larger DCSD conversation with our lived experiences and perspectives. With the old board, I never felt listened to. It was a hostile environment. I strongly believe that the new DCSD board will follow through with its commitment of our children being first, where they can feel safe and receive excellent education. Sometimes it's hard to listen to the very loud, extreme voices that dominate the conversation here. I know they are socially and financially well connected to extreme liberal groups like Doug Co-Collective. That's why I have to keep showing up every single week and say how much I appreciate that you are out there looking out for our children, bringing excellence back into our schools. As a parent of 2 teenagers, the comments here are often disgusting and dangerous and make the general school environment feel unsafe for my children. I have thought of pulling my children out of school a few times, most recent of those being when the kids had a so-called walkout. My children didn't even know what was going on. They were in their classrooms and their teachers told them there was a protest going on outside and they could join if they wanted to or hang out with their friends. They had an hour and a half of free time. This does not feel safe to me. My children should be in school. Their teachers should not be promoting walkouts and telling them to leave the school or go have free time when they're supposed to be there for lessons, learning. Please continue. Whatever lawsuits are coming your way, fight them because we need you. Our children need you. Thank you for your continued hard work. It is definitely appreciated. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Ms. Caicos. Tiffany Baker, followed by Jennifer Barney, followed by Jenny Brady.
We have 4 directors who campaign as a slate of Republicans with the support of pro-gun Christian conservative organizations affiliated with militia groups and Douglas County Republicans. During the school board candidate forums, candidates were asked by students, what policies do you plan on passing in order to prevent violence in schools? School board president Mike Peterson responded, you need planning, partnership, and proficiency before events happen. That's partnering with our law enforcement experts, partnering with our other folks in the community, groups like Able Shepherd. We have some experts here that are not part of the system that provide great advice. And here's a really radical idea. The real way I think you prevent violence in schools is you follow the example of John and Maria Castillo, and you raise more kids of character like Kendra Castillo, the hero of the STEM school shooting. If you raise kids to have honor, integrity, courage, and respect, not only will they shore up the community and act heroically when called upon, they will also protect the other kids. No parent wants their kids trained to protect in an active shooter situation. Peterson promoted Able Shepherd, a Christian-based active shooter training response center, who helped campaign for their election. Able Shepherd founder and CEO is looking for school investors interested in creating an armed reserve school resource officer program in their buildings. Following the STEM shootings, he told Doug County commissioners, my daughter's school, the parents, the individuals are the ones that devote their time and they've been trained and documented to a high level, not to be a police officer, respectfully. In public comment on February 22nd, he reminded directors in the majority that they have unspent funds to put towards security. Director Christy Williams previously stated, our commissioners gave the district millions of dollars to put towards the security of our schools. We still have the majority of those funds unspent. This conversation brings up questions like, would this lead to an atmosphere of intimidation and oppression? What if students attacked an adult and took away their gun to use against other students? How would officers responding to shots fired know that the person with the gun was a good guy? Would volunteers caring be required to do mental health emergency training, crisis response, and de-escalation? Would they be required to know how to respond to people with disabilities? What would happen if one of those volunteers caring started having mental health issues that led to police involvement? Who would buy the guns, bullets, pay for certifications? Who would be responsible for monitoring the training and safety checks? How will we get insurance to cover potential damage done by an armed shooter firing into a crowd in the lunchroom? A number of parents are likely more comfortable continuing to have professional school resource officers in our schools rather than volunteers, background checked, hired, and trained by professional law
15
enforcement.
seconds remaining.
I'm not sure our school district should invest in organizations who are affiliated with militia. Continue the mission to find additional security solutions to shore up the community without relying on volunteers and our kids to deal with this very adult.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Jennifer Barney, followed by Jenny Brady, and then Amity Wicks, comments read by Jenny Brady. Jennifer Barney.
She is online, sir. We're asking to unmute.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, yes. First, I want to say big thanks to all of our teacher and staff this year. You guys have done a fantastic job. Very thankful to you all. I have a couple other points on 5 different subjects, and it's pretty brief. Number 1, I would like to ask that you not endorse political candidates as DCSD board members. Whatever you choose to put your name on is your business, but you should leave your school board title off of it. Number 2, why would you choose not to settle the COML lawsuit with Mr. Marshall and stop wasting money that's supposed to be for our children and their schools? That's extremely selfish, and it's on the kids' first floor, not the person with the knowledge to hold you accountable for your wrongdoings. 3, I am thankful that Danny Windsor is the assistant superintendent. He was the best person for the position of superintendent and preferred largely by the community. Number 4, if you approve any charter schools before building neighborhood schools, especially in Sterling Ranch, that will speak volumes to what your priorities are and would most likely seal the fate of the MLO. Charter schools are not inclusive of all children, and I know this because of my own children. I have 2 in a charter and 1 in a neighborhood school. Number 5, the fact that there was a flyer sent out for an end of the year party before the meeting tonight, but was only sent to Kids First supporters and those who signed up for their emails is a huge slap in the face to the rest of the teachers, staff, parents, and community members. I know all board members have been contacted about this by numerous people throughout the day today. How is this supposed to bridge the gap? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barney. Jenny Brady, followed by Amity Wicks. Comments read by Jenny Brady, followed by Julie Watkins. Is Ms. Brady online?
She is online, sir.
Okay, and can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read Amity Wick's comments. First, I would like to acknowledge the tragic events in Texas today. As a parent of 2 surviving children of the STEM shooting 3 years ago, I understand all too well the horror of this kind of situation. While my children came home, others have not. My heart is incredibly heavy for the many families whose worst nightmare has become reality today. These families and their community will be in my prayers that they might experience comfort and peace that is beyond all understanding. While we mourn with those in Texas, we in our own community know that we also have much to celebrate. Thousands of kids have graduated from kindergarten, elementary, middle, and high school after 2 of the most difficult years we can all remember. I want to acknowledge their perseverance and determination, especially for the high school graduates from whom much was taken. Thank you to the teachers, administrators, and staff who worked so hard to find solutions to problems never before faced to support students the best way they know how. I would also like to acknowledge all 7 of you directors. While many elected positions are paid, this one is not, and you give considerable time to this role. While we may not always agree on issues, I and many others recognize that you care and have stepped up to take on the very challenging role that it is. Many are very excited for the accomplishments of this board over the past 6 months, including the change in leadership for the district, the clarification of the equity policy, and the support for the fundamental rights of parents to make decisions for their children, both in their education and for their health. Now more than I can ever remember, parents are involved in their children's education, and that is a very good thing. Children belong to their parents and not to the state, and it is the right and responsibility of parents to direct the education of their children. We are excited to have the newly formed and well-funded Doug Co-Protective, supporting our students, teachers, staff, parents, and families, and protecting against outside interests and harmful ideology. We do not need, nor do we want, the teachers' unions with their huge pockets, exceptions to campaign finance law restrictions, false narratives, and manufactured chaos to sow division here so that, as the AFT vice president said, quote, the kids can all be behind together, end quote. Teachers are tired of the bullying from the unions and their peers who share their false narratives. It's time to bring back and encourage open and civil discourse among us adults, as we have seen exemplified by a certain courageous, intelligent, and persevering high school student. His name's Owen. Let us follow his example as we continue to strive
15 seconds
for not
remaining.
just better, but for the best for our kids, our schools, and our community. And that's the end of Amity's.
Thank you, Ms. Brady, for the comments of Ms. Wicks. Ms. Brady, do you have your own comments?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Yes, do you have your own comments? Thank you for reading Ms. Wicks'
Yes, I
comments.
just wanted to say thank you to all 7 of the board members for just giving your time, taking time away from your families and the hits that all of you continue to get. I just want to say thank you for that. I also just want to put a special story of a teacher. My son dealt with a lot of anxiety going to school. He would cry every day going to school. And he had one very special teacher, and I won't say her name because I didn't ask her permission, who was so unbelievably kind, would give him hugs and reassure him, and he would stop crying when he was with her. When he went on to the next grade, he's continued to have anxiety. But as I was dropping him off one day, I saw her. She wasn't even his teacher anymore. She went out to greet him and help him and come inside the classroom and help comfort him and make sure that he was okay. And it's teachers like this that we need to keep in the school district. And I just want to say thank you to all the teachers out there that take that extra special time and care of our children to make sure that they do feel safe and that you are teaching them to the highest of the standards. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brady. Our final speaker this evening will be Ms. Watkins. Is Ms. Watkins online?
She is online, sir, asking to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead.
Great. I'm speaking at this last DCSD Board of Education meeting of the school year as an involved citizen, a parent, and an advocate for public education. Unlike the party on the lawn invitation that your supporters email to only the chosen ones to celebrate a wonderful 21-22 school year for students, staff, and school board, what I have to say now is sincere and based in reality. I am here to implore everyone on this board, but in particular the 4 newest members, to please step back, regroup, and just do the right thing and work for the students, teachers, staff, and families of this district. Please stop focusing on parents' rights and implying that our teachers are somehow trying to indoctrinate our children into becoming liberals or communists and grooming them to become sexual deviants or change their gender identities. This is patently false and manufactured outrage to rile up your base. And speaking of your base, please stop the extremist and partisan rhetoric. It is divisive and it is dangerous. And public school boards are meant to be nonpartisan. Please stop doing those things that get you and DCSD sued. Please stop blaming the ones who sue you. They are merely trying to hold you accountable for your misdeeds. And when you are caught and asked to be held accountable, please just do the right thing, apologize, and move on. Stop wasting time and money to try to set some sort of legal precedent to appease your financial supporters. Please stop just giving lip service that you care about the passage of an MLO bond for our district. Your words say you want to see one pass, but your actions don't back it up. Please stop campaigning and canvassing for political candidates and abusing positions on the board to further your and those candidates' political agendas. It's fine to be political activists, but it's not okay to do it as representatives of DCSD. Instead, please campaign for our district. Use your political connections to get bipartisan endorsements for the MLO bond. Encourage your followers to attend district school funding presentations. Actively engage the Douglas County community to support public education. Spend Saturday mornings at district events where students and teachers are also spending their spare time. See the work of DCS staff in action. There are a lot of great things about DCSD, but as you all know, there are also a lot of areas that need to be addressed. There are 7 of you, and you have 18 more months to work together as a board. Make it count. Do the right thing. Do it for the students. Do it for the teachers and staff. And do it for every family in this district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Watkins, and thank you to all the speakers that spoke tonight. Just for information and return to normalcy, we will have public comment again at the 21st, June 21st meeting. And then when we start the new school year, the plan is to return all public comment to in person. So just as an early heads up, when we start the new school year, we're looking to move completely to in-person public comment. With that, we will move to agenda item number 7, which is adoption of the consent agenda. And the recommendation is to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
President Peterson, I would actually like to pull items 16 and 17.
Okay, we have a motion to pull items number 16, which is the approval of resolution for superintendent cabinet member contracts, and number 17, which is the approval of Board of Education schedule of meetings. Do you want to take those up as a joint, pull them both, or would you like to take them up as individual polls to vote on?
I need to discuss them individually.
Okay. We have a motion by Director Hansen to pull both items 16 and 17. Is there a second?
I'm sorry. To pull an item off of the consent agenda, it doesn't require a motion. If any director wants to pull.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're
So
correct.
I can go ahead and make the motion to approve items 8 through 15 on the consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
So motion is now to approve items 8 through 15 as presented by Hansen, second by Ray. Okay, we'll call the roll on that. Director Hansen.
Aye.
Meek.
Aye.
Myers.
Aye.
Peterson, aye. Ray.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Weiniger.
Aye.
It passed by a vote of 7-0. And just checking our next items, the next would be to take up item number 16 and then number 17 as an individual item. We'll start with item number 16, approval of resolution for superintendent cabinet member contracts. And we will open it up for any discussion or questions by the directors.
Is Superintendent Kane still online?
Yes, she is.
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. I just have 2 quick questions. One, when we are discussing an MLO bond, potential MLO bond, anytime we start looking at salaries, administrative salaries always come up. And I was really interested to read in your update today that you actually had used a different metric for our cabinet contracts, and you had looked at anyone who I believe was 20% or under market pay, whereas 5% had been the metric used for our other staff. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to that, and if you could possibly include just a number of how many staff we had in cabinet, on cabinet, who were in that less than 20% category.
Thank you for that opportunity. Yes, we have, we had 10 cabinet members. We now have 9. And of our 9 cabinet members, when you compare their salary to the average of the market, so the other people in other districts that are in their same position, all of them were, almost all of them were 13 to 28%, I believe, below the average of their counterparts. So yes, we did use a different methodology. Instead of less than 5%, instead of adjusting, sorry, I'm not speaking super clearly. Instead of looking at moving them to be within 5% of market, that just wasn't something we could do. They are all now within 20% of market. And the adjustments were made accordingly. Is that what you were looking for, Director Hansen?
Yeah, I just think it's really important to recognize that our cabinet is paid at, when we're looking across, we talk so much about our teachers and how they compare, but I think it's really important to highlight the compensation for our administrators as well. The other question that I just wanted to weigh in on, I understand that the resolution is just approving the extension of contracts for cabinet. As I was looking through the actual contract language, I was concerned about one of the provisions. It was previously in section 7. It is now, I believe, has been revised to be in section 6. And the language of the contract states that the board may unilaterally terminate at any time without cause. And I'm just not sure if that's the appropriate party to have identified, given that the board does not supervise any of the cabinet members. I think that it would be more appropriate to have the superintendent in that category.
So I think it's actually the reverse. So the contract that cabinet signed last year had a provision in it that the board could terminate them at any time, and that provision has been removed.
Fantastic. I think that is really important.
For exactly the reason you just stated.
Perfect. I think that's really important. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you pointing out the great work and the sacrifice that our cabinet members are making. Truly, everyone in our district is working incredibly hard, and the team that I have is amazing, and I could not be more privileged to work with each and every one of them, and I'm so excited to welcome them back next year.
Okay, thank you, Director Hanson. I will point out that the attachment for item number 16 has the wrong date of approval. I've been informed by the board secretary that we can still approve it with the wrong date in there, and it will be administratively corrected if we do vote to approve item number 16 tonight. Are there any other questions on item number 16 or discussion? Okay, if not, I'd like to, I would entertain a motion on approval of item number 16 and item number 16 alone.
I move that we approve the resolution for the superintendent cabinet members' contracts.
Thank you. Motion by Hanson. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, which?
Myers.
Myers, thank you. Second by Myers. We'll now call the roll. Director Hanson?
Aye.
Meek?
Aye.
Myers?
Aye.
Peterson? Aye. Ray?
Aye.
Williams?
Aye.
Weiniger?
Aye.
And item number 16 alone is approved by a vote of 7-0. We will now take up item number 17, which is approval of the 22-23 Board of Education schedule of meetings.
I asked to pull this item because the attachment, the proposed meeting dates includes the July 26th meeting. I just want to bring to your attention that July is a time when our cabinet rotates. It's the only time of the year that they get any chance to step away, and they typically rotate through. And I understand that it's a great opportunity to keep the MLO and bond in front of our community, but I think there's going to be so many other opportunities, and we really need to respect our staff's time. And I think there's other ways we can accomplish what we're trying to accomplish by putting that July 26th vote in another meeting, and we can avoid that special meeting. So I would like to remove the July 26th meeting from the proposed dates.
President Peterson, may I answer that?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Superintendent Kane.
Actually, that would be all right with staff. That was my fault. Again, I'm not feeling super well. I put that in believing that we had to inform the election officials in July, but indeed we can inform them in June, because informing the election officials does not launch the Fair Campaign Practices Act. So because we could do it in our second meeting in June, that negates the necessity for a July meeting. That is entirely on me.
And I think we had some excellent clarification and discussion on that on item number 5 tonight. I think there was also some, at least misunderstanding on my part, that we may trigger something. But based on that understanding, what I'm hearing is a motion to approve number 17 with the amendment to strike the July 26th special meeting. Is that the motion?
So moved.
Okay, so moved by Hanson and
Second.
second by Ray. It sounds like we have no other conversation, so we will go down the roll. Director Hansen.
Aye.
Director Meek.
Aye.
Director Myers.
Aye.
Director Peterson, aye. Director Ray.
Aye.
Director Williams.
Aye.
Director Weininger.
Aye.
And the amended motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Director Hansen, for clarification on those. We will now move to item number 18, which is our approval of minutes. The recommendation is the Board of Education approve the board minutes as presented and expertly written by Secretary Marsh and through April 26th and May 10th. So we are completely caught up. Do we have a motion for approval of minutes?
Motion to approve the April 26th and May 10th minutes.
Motion by Ray,
Second.
second by Williams. Director Hansen.
Aye.
Meek.
Aye.
Director Myers.
Aye.
Director Peterson, aye. Ray.
Aye.
Director Williams.
Aye.
Director Weininger.
Aye.
Passed by a vote of 7-0. We will now move to item number 19, Board of Education reports, and number 19, President report. Board of Education study session is planned for 7 June. And just to remind folks, that is when we expect to receive the Mill Bond Exploratory Committee recommendations, but the rest of the timeline will continue as brief tonight. And in a previous meeting, I had mentioned that we would also do charter approval votes based on the item on the consent agenda. All 3 charter schools in this cycle, Nova Star, Lehman, and STEM, have waived the statutory period and have agreed to move those votes to the June 21st meeting. That'll give us more time to engage the community, specifically a mill bond presentation to the folks out at Sterling Ranch on June 16th. Agenda planning for the 7 June school board study session is scheduled for this Thursday, the 26th of May at 11:30. And today, the proposed agenda for the June 14th retreat was sent to all directors. And again, if you have any feedback on that, comment back to me individually, and or we can attend the you can attend the live noticed agenda planning session for this Thursday. We already covered the July 26th meeting. And then the last item I have is I have been approached by the members of the Douglas County Charitable Foundation, the DCCF, and for those that don't know, it's a fairly large board with representatives across the county, and what they do is they maintain funds and then dedicate those to various charitable endeavors across the county. And they have asked for a volunteer member of the Board of Education to sit on the DCCF board. The plan would be for that person to sit on the board temporarily till we get to the beginning of the school year, and we look at all our committee assignments, liaisons, and things like that, and see if people would like to move around. So at this point, I'd like to open it up just informally to any directors here tonight that may be interested in sitting on that board for the remainder of the year till we renew the school year.
What days do they meet?
I'm sorry. That is a excellent question. I should have come prepared with that, but we can flex around that. And if anybody can bail me out and knows what days, thank you. I have the third.
It's the third Thursday of the month.
Third Thursday of the month from a member of the.
5 and 5 in the afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Third Thursday of the month. In the early to later afternoon. So with that, do we have any directors here that may be interested in serving in that position, at least temporarily, and we will revisit at the beginning of the year?
So I'm sorry, there's a meeting this Thursday, is what we're saying?
It was last Thursday, so the next one would be in July.
The third.
The next one would be in June.
Right, June.
I can. I'll try.
Okay. We have Director Myers who is interested, and if not, I'd be happy to step in temporarily, but Director Myers? Sure. Okay. We will have Director Myers noted, and we will make sure we get you in touch with the members of the foundation so they can include you in email. Thank you for stepping up with board representation. With that, I am complete and turn it over to Vice President Williams for her items.
So first, I just want to say that over the last couple weeks, we've all had an opportunity to attend some graduations, and it has been a great honor and privilege. And just want to wish all the students good luck and hope that they do something that makes them smile and happy every day. So congrats to the class of 2022. I also want to say, as the year comes to a close, I just want to give a sincere thank you to all of the teachers and staff that have worked so hard for our kids, that come and show up every day to inspire them and to help them grow. And I hope that the summer provides you an opportunity to relax, some time to spend time with your family and enjoy that, and also to recharge for the fall. On to NBEC. They're working hard on their presentation that they will be presenting to us at the next BOE meeting. Director Hansen and I are working on an editorial together, and it's currently with the communications department. We're working through some edits and things like that, but hopefully it will be ready to be released very soon. I hope that we can all speak to things that we do outside of board meetings, whether that be just talk to people at, our kids' games, our neighbors, just any opportunity we have to really do that. And to speak to what Director Meek said earlier about having some conversations via Zoom, I think that's an excellent idea. And I would hope that maybe we can team up, a couple members at a time to do that. And then lastly, I want to say that I know I need to be looking through the lens of potential funding moving forward. So having said that, I recognize and acknowledge that endorsements are not beneficial to the district when considering a possible MLO and bond. So I am making the commitment to not make endorsements during a year we're looking for potential funding. So thanks. That's it.
Great, thank you, Director Williams. And we'll just start down the end with Director Weiniger, and we won't forget Director Meek at the end. Director Weiniger.
I share Christy's sentiments to our teachers. Congrats on another year. It was great to go to graduations and have that normalcy of no social distancing or requiring masks. So I really appreciated getting the opportunity to do that as a board director. And as we also got to go to the retirement ceremony, which was a great send-off to many other great teachers. And yeah, looking forward to the MBEC presentation and hoping to tune into their meeting tomorrow and try to get this MLO and bond going if that's what they see as feasible.
Thank you, Director Weiniger. And just speaking as my role as director at B, I was able to get out to 9 of the schools in my directorate in the last 3 weeks, and got a lot of reports back on the bond MLO process and was able to discuss that with school leadership. So big shout out to all the schools in Directorate B, and a lot of them have already briefed their SACs and given some really good feedback, very positive feedback on the support for bond and MLO throughout our community. Director Myers?
I also wanted to give a shout out to the teachers. This is the time of the year, being a former teacher, where you're elated because it's the end of the year. You've completed a year and you hope you've made an impact on students, but also a time where you hopefully can get some rest. But as most teachers continue to work through the summer and do work in preparation for the next year, I too had the privilege of attending or visiting elementary schools, Franktown, Sedalia, Southridge. I got to go to Mesa Middle School, Castle Rock Middle School, Lehman Academy, American Academy, and Renaissance Secondary. And I just saw so many teachers and so many things going on that was just so nice. I even was invited back to Franktown again, and I got to sit with a teacher for a couple of hours and just saw all the great work that they're doing from one end of our district to another. We have wonderful, wonderful teachers. And I can't wait till start next year and get back in visiting schools. And one of the things that I did was I kept stealing Danny Windsor's line, when you walk into a school, children are energy. And boy, are they ever. Even just kids waving at you and just acknowledging you and the love you felt. So I wanted to say thank you to all of our teachers, our parents that stuck by and kept their kids in school despite everything that was going on. And I just feel like next year this is just going to be an awesome place for us to continue education for our kids. Oh, I did have to say one thing. At the Douglas County High School graduation today, the security got the largest claps and yell over everybody. I thought that was neat.
Thank you, Director Myers. Director Wright.
Well, it's nice to be able to go last because I can say ditto on many of the comments. I've had the pleasure of being in 35 schools over the last couple of months, and what I decided to do was actually go to schools outside of my director district because I've done those several times over again. But I agree with what Director Peterson has said. I think, and also Director Williams, when you talk about other ways that we get the word out, I think that's how we do it. I think the presentations certainly are well done and important, but it's nothing like being able to talk firsthand about what we see in the schools and have that interaction with staff and the community, and to do our elevator talk. I think someone said that every time someone talks to Superintendent Kane, she talks about needing teachers to be paid better, and it's exactly the conversation I think that we have when we go out and visit schools. So indeed, that's been a pleasure of mine as well. I also want to just echo graduations. Oh my goodness, our kids are just exceptional. The things that they do, the talents they show, truly make you proud. But kind of echoing from Director Myers' comments, I also want to just shout out to Derek Cheney and the stadium crew. Talk about an incredible task. To have to do the logistics and the security and just watching the behind the scenes the several times we've been there, it's just been exceptional. So I always find graduations is very restorative and just really gets our mind focused back on where it should be. So that's graduations have been delightful. So those are my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Director Hansen.
One of my biggest pet peeves is talking just to hear yourself talk. And so I'm just going to say ditto.
Okay, Director Meek.
Yeah, I usually go first, so thank you. It's kind of nice to go last. I just really want to echo last week's retirement ceremony was just so special. So many of our retirees have spent decades of their lives just supporting our students and our community. And I just would like to thank them once more for making such a difference in the lives of so many children. And I wish all of our retirees a very well-deserved retirement. I also had the pleasure of attending the graduation ceremonies of the 4 high schools serving the Highlands Ranch area. What really struck me was the bond between the students and their teachers. Also, just to see the talent, the drive, and the passion of our students, it's so heartwarming and inspiring, and our future is in great hands. And I wish all of our graduates all the best in their future endeavors. Last week we had a DAC meeting, and I promised I would bring forward a question from the community members who were attending. Concerns were brought up about the district spending money to fight the lawsuit regarding the violation of the open meeting law when it can be dropped. The concern was that by choosing to prioritize funding on a lawsuit, it simply could drop. It's not prioritizing funds going into the classroom, and it sends a bad message. And I said I would share the concern with the full board at tonight's meeting. I want to thank Director Williams for her commitment tonight to refrain from making endorsements. I think we've heard from many through email and through public comment tonight that when you do that, it really is dividing our community as opposed to pulling them together at a time where we should be doing everything possible to pull our community together. Since I won't be able to attend the agenda planning meeting this week, and I know you shared the agenda for the upcoming board retreat, I wanted to just share a couple of things that I didn't see on there. I think we need to discuss the superintendent evaluation. I think we need to discuss community engagement planning, monitoring schedule for the year, and direction for our board committees. So those were just some items. I'll follow up with a written email as well. And I think that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Meek. We will be moving on to item item number 22, which is to convene an executive session pending a vote. The recommendation is that the Board of Education convenes an executive session, a closed session, for purposes of holding conference with the district attorneys to receive legal advice on specific legal questions pursuant to CRS 24-6-4024B, including conferences to receive legal advice on specific questions relating to pending litigation, specifically Marshall via Douglas County Board of Education et al., pending in district court, Douglas County case number 22CV30071, and to receive legal advice on specific legal questions related to the district's responsibilities under the Colorado Open Records Act, also known as CORA, and a pending threat of litigation under CORA to file an application for an order to show cause under CRS 24-72-2045. And further, that the Board of Education convene an executive session for purposes of developing strategy of the school district for negotiations with the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1737 relating to collective bargaining pursuant to CRS 24-6-4024E1 and 3, and for purposes of holding conference with the district attorneys to receive legal advice on specific legal questions related to the same pursuant to CRS 24-6-4024B. Request in the session, in all sessions, will be all Board of Education directors and Superintendent Kane virtually. For discussions of the Marshall case, we will also request Jeff Blue, representing Gessler Blue and the Board of Education. For core issues, we will be requesting District Counsel Mary Klemesh. And for the ATU collective bargaining strategy discussions, we will be requesting Mary Klemesh, Chief of Operations Rich Cosgrove, and Chief HR Officer Amanda Thompson. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting and convene as stated?
Director Peterson, if we could modify just one slight thing on the core issue, we could add the topic of attorney-client privilege with that topic, if you would accept that as a friendly amendment.
Absolutely. We will accept that under the core discussion to include the topic of attorney-client privilege as legal advice.
Thank you. So therefore, I move that we move into we adjourn our regular meeting and move into executive session for the reasons Director Peterson noted.
Okay, motion by Ray. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Weiniger. And we'll take the roll. Director Hansen.
Aye.
Meek.
Aye.
Myers.
Aye.
Peterson. Aye. Ray.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Weiniger.
Aye.
Passed by a vote of 7-0. We hereby adjourn the main meeting, and we'll start the executive session in 5 minutes.